ريادة الأعمال، هذه الكلمة الجذابة، هذا العالم الجميل، وش اللي جذبني إليه؟
هي جذبتني، مو أنا انجذبت لها.
أعطيني الفرصة إني دائما أتحدى نفسي.
التحدي الكبير عندي كيف أحول فكرتي إلى منتج، وكيف أنشر أو أوزع هذا المنتج في العالم.
فهو لا يساهم فقط برفع الناتج المحلي، بل أيضا هو ناقل للمعرفة.
إنه يكون عندك رؤية أو تصور لمنتجك النهائي، ولكن ما في طريق ممهد لك إنك توصل لهذه النقطة.
وبعد السنوات هذه وصلت إلى تعريف خاص فيني جدا.
هل هي الاستقلالية المالية؟
فلوس طبعا، ما في فلوس ما في مشروع.
يحقق لي الاستقلال المالي، ولكنه يكون ذا نفع وتأثير في حياة الناس.
زيادة معدل الادخار لدى الفرد السعودي بسبب انخفاض هذا المعدل مقارنة بالدول الأخرى.
كل الكلام اللي راح تسمعه، وفر فلوسك، ركز في شغلك، الدنيا دوارة من هالكلام.
ويقين المجتمع بأنها موجودة ولن تنقطع، هذا دور إيجابي جدا يمارسه رواد الأعمال.
أكبر التحديات هي إيجاد فريق مناسب تجمعهم رؤية واحدة.
ادرس المشروع صح واتكل على الله.
ولكن
تذكر أن شغفك هو اللي يعطيك الدافع علشان تستمتع بكل جهد تسويه.
رائد الأعمال يجب أن يكون صبور، حكيم، عنده فهم سياسي لكيف تدار الأمور، ويتعامل معها بالطريقة اللي ينجح فيها مشروعه.
نصيحة أنصحها إلى رواد الأعمال هي الإيجابية وعدم الاستسلام حتى تحقيق الهدف المطلوب.
تركيز ثم التركيز ثم التركيز، ودمتم بخير.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of the Saudi finale of the Entrepreneurship World Cup. This is the biggest movement towards entrepreneurship in the kingdom so far. The EWC started last year with an unprecedented number of entrepreneurs participating in the event. This year, and despite the challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been a phenomenal experience for many around the world still, and it's the biggest program for entrepreneurship ever in the kingdom. 15,000 startups and ideas have joined the EWC this year, and to show our support and commitment to them, up-and-coming entrepreneurs all walked with support packages. Today, we've given back, thanks to our prize partners, a total of 200,000 Saudi riyals in services to them. No one walked empty-handed. Out of 15,000 startup pitches, we're here to see the best 14 Saudi pitches today in front of the kingdom's leading investors and entrepreneurial leaders. We would like to let all our investors know of our brand new experience specially designed for them through the EWC Investor Portal. You can now, at the comfort of your office or home, re-watch this event and events from more than 100 countries that have been taking place this year as part of the EWC 2020 that took place in July, August, as well as September. You'll be able to see the best 1,000 entrepreneurs and startup pitches from 175,000, where you can learn more about them and what makes them special for your investment approach based on sector, stage, country or region, and more. You'll have your own custom investment deal flow ready. And one of the best features of this portal is the ability to connect personally with the founders easily on the EWC platform by setting an account for your team members and team analysts to learn about the best of the startups in 2020 now. The EWC is not simply a pitch competition. It truly is a global entrepreneurial wave and movement. Virtually, every country has seen thousands of its best startups and ideas emerge through national competitions to see who are the best 100 startups that will change the world. It all ends here in Riyadh, with the global finals during the Miss Global Forum. This is the world's most exciting entrepreneurship program. We hope you enjoy it tonight. My name is Rawan Radwan, and I'm delighted to be your Masters of Ceremony for this exciting evening. We have a very busy program with many exciting sessions, pitches, and more. Before we start, I would like to thank our organizers, the MISC Foundation, the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, KAUST, Prince Mohammed bin Salman College, Global Entrepreneurship Network Saudi, also known as Gen Saudi, as well as our ecosystem partners, the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, and Munshaat. And last but not least, our strategic media partner, Arab News, an organization from which I am very proud to be a part of. To start this evening, we will discuss entrepreneurship in an unusual context. This year has been challenging for many of us on many different scales due to the ongoing pandemic. Our next speakers will discuss how entrepreneurs can overcome these challenges and thrive despite the difficulties. Please welcome Dr. Badr al-Badr, CEO of MISC Foundation, and Amal Dukhan, CEO of Global Entrepreneurship Network, Saudi.
Hello. Thank you so much, Rawan, for the introduction, and we're very delighted to represent Gen Saudi today here. And we're certainly very delighted to be part of this movement that you just indicated around the world for entrepreneurship. It's my pleasure and honor to host Dr. Badr al-Badr today. So welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here with you today in this important milestone on the EWC journey. I welcome all to this MISC event and wish success to all the contestants.
We sure do wish them all the best today. It's going to be a very exciting day for all of them. Doctor, we're certainly living in a very exceptional times here in 2020. Many of what we know is no longer there, maybe, or it has changed or transformed, or we see it in different shapes or forms. And you're a strong supporter and a believer in entrepreneurship. Think that it might be the answer for all. Can you share with us just your thoughts on why should young Saudis adopt an entrepreneurial mindset?
Since the last 5 years, I have been repeating to my team that the world is becoming more difficult, more volatile, more chaotic. It has not been truer this year than when the COVID epidemic that it became 10x that. So whatever difficulties we had, it became even more complicated. But with difficulty comes opportunity as well. The world is awash with challenges and opportunities. For one to succeed in this world, one must be have a mentality that's adaptable, resilient, and able to reinvent themselves. These are the components of what I call an entrepreneurial mindset. This is the mindset that allows one to succeed in today's world and in the future.
Absolutely. And maybe these are the skills, Dr. Badr, we always wonder, are these skills really strictly for entrepreneurs only, or is it something that we do on an everyday basis? Because I think under these circumstances, we're all under that pressure and we're all faced with these obstacles today. So what are your thoughts on that?
Definitely. And that's why I said an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm not saying that everybody in the world has to become an entrepreneur. But what I'm saying is to be successful, you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset, even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Whether you're an engineer, you're a doctor, whatever profession you're in, that is a mindset. That is a requirement for success today. Being able to reinvent yourself, being able to pick up yourself after you fail, being able to decide quickly under incomplete information in changing circumstances. These are the characteristics of an entrepreneurial mindset, and these are also the requirements for success as an entrepreneur.
And I think maybe Dr. Badr as well, that's what we're seeing today in the reports. Like in the past few days, we've seen, lots of celebrations for the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, the increased numbers of Saudi Arabia and being, at the end of the ranking. And I think these are all the efforts, of collective entities that have participated, obviously, to put us in these good positions.
Definitely, things have changed a lot in the entrepreneurship space. If you asked a child 20 years ago what they want to be when they grow up, or even 10 years ago, it's more likely that you would hear engineer, doctor, pilot, and so on. Entrepreneurship and starting their own business was not on the map at all. I would suspect now, if you start asking people, children, what do they want to be when they grow up, you would start registering some of them saying that they want to start their own business or do their own thing. This change, even subtle as subtle it is, it's showing that the society is evolving, not only the scene here. And what's good is the government is taking lead, taking charge, and making the environment more helpful to entrepreneurs. And that is reflecting in the global rankings, where Saudi Arabia, mashallah, is jumping ranks every year. The latest ranking report I've seen is really, really impressive, and we're really encouraged by it. We hope that EWC, the contest having the finals in Riyadh, would also reinforce the mindset of entrepreneurship in the society here in Saudi Arabia, and also encourage more entrepreneurs to start their businesses and to flourish.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is quite inspiring, Dr. Badr, and the fact that Entrepreneurship World Cup have kicked off from Saudi Arabia will go around the world to over 100 countries where they're celebrating the national competition as well, to all come together and celebrate the finals, you know, in Saudi Arabia as well, even if it was as a virtual manner. So I think my next question to you will be, you know what, why has MISC actually decided to participate in this incredible adventure? Because to me, it sounds like a great entrepreneurial adventure.
Entrepreneurship is one of the pillars of what we do here at MISC. We deeply believe in order to empower youth and to make leaders out of them, we need to give them the tools, and we need to open the path. One of the future paths for leaders, for youth leaders in particular, is entrepreneurship. As I said before, where it was a job in the past, now a leader doesn't have to really have a job. A leader now create jobs. And what we're looking at here, we're looking at the future leaders of tomorrow, those who will be creating the jobs. Most of job creation would not remain with the government. The private sector need to take the lead. And entrepreneurship is the new engine, the turbo engine, if I want to say, that will create more and more jobs. We see a big future for entrepreneurship in Saudi Arabia. Our role is in MISC here is to prepare entrepreneurs as leaders.
Absolutely. And I think, as you mentioned rightly before, Dr. Badr, you know, it's everybody is actually evolving into this new thing. And we're seeing entrepreneurship as the new career choice, you know, for so many of these young people, especially the ones that have attended the programs of MISC. And we've seen, you know, the impact on that over the years. So what we want to know, I think, you know, here is as well, how did this event evolve? I mean, we know that the first edition was last year. We participated in it. We've seen great results, and it created a lot of wonderful startups at the finals. So how is it so different this year?
Well, with COVID-19, it brought challenges, but at the same time, it also brought opportunities. The opportunity this year was to move the event to be totally online. With the event being online, we succeeded in bringing in 75% more participants from around the world. This is really a phenomenal number, a big jump like that, especially given that everything is closed, no travel. At the same time, the contest is proceeding with even stronger contestants. We're very proud of the entries this year. We have seen other countries' finals. The participants there were extremely strong, even compared to last year. So I anticipate a very, very strong finish, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, when it comes to the finals in Riyadh next month. And this is, in my mind, a sign of the times. This is the new era. This is how things would be conducting going forward. I don't see this as a one-time thing. I would say that this is going to be the new norm, and we need to lead it.
Absolutely. And you're actually leading it, where we see the whole world is now keeping their eyes on Saudi Arabia, you know, and we know of lots of startups coming actually to start their journeys over here. We're very, very delighted to have talked to you, Dr. Badr, at the beginning of this marvelous event, and would like to see if you have any final words to the audience, to the entrepreneurs, to everyone who's attending and listening to us today.
This year has been full of challenges and lots of lessons to be learned. I myself learned lots of lessons myself. I would also expect to learn from the contestants, from the entrants, and also from the winners. From their stories, from their journeys, they'll be very inspiring to me. I just have one final message here, that even if you don't win, it doesn't matter. As an entrepreneur, it's not these events that judge whether you're successful or not. you could be very, very successful even if you don't win a single contest. The market is what votes for you. So go out there, capture your market, and succeed. That's my message to all.
I think this is obviously is going to stick, in a lot of these entrepreneurial minds. I know now they are all preparing for their pitches. The judges probably are getting really concerned, because it's their time to actually choose these winners, here in these finals. And I was delighted to be one of the pioneer judges as well, going through the screenings, and looking into the ideas. And we can surely say that this event, being in the virtual nature of it, have opened the doors for a lot of the entrepreneurs who probably did not come to, to certain cities or couldn't come to a particular place. I think the virtual nature have definitely inspired so many of these entrepreneurs. And you're going to be, I'm sure, very, very proud to see them, to have availed, these opportunities for all of them today. And maybe we're, I think, a bit greedy here, Dr. Badr, to have asked you, more questions, because I think, the Global Entrepreneurship Network have participated in the spread, of all of that. MISC have initiated this great idea to actually reach different places all around the world. And I think, have seen this event, come to Saudi Arabia, have certainly inspired so many of these entrepreneurs to participate and to actually come along and compete with the rest of the globe, in one platform. And I think, maybe at the very end, we can ask you, as being, an entrepreneur initially yourself, how has this, journey, if there is one or two main advices that you can actually give these entrepreneurs, what would that be?
Well, I characterize myself as a failed entrepreneur. Failure is part of the life cycle. I have tried a number of times, failed a number of times. It's always important to figure out when is the right time to stop, pivot, change, close, and move to the next phase. To recognize that pivotal point was important for me, and I would think it would be important for the entrepreneurs today.
You're certainly, an idol, an example for so many. It's a pleasure to have been with you today, and I think we'll leave it now to the very, very, very tough job of the judges. We wish them best of luck, and thank you so much, Dr. Badr, for your honesty today and for all these inspiring words. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both very much for those valuable insights. Now, you all know how to overcome challenges, so it's my honor to introduce the EWC Saudi's final judges. Jihad Al-Ammar, tech builder and investor. We have Kevin Cullen, Vice President of Innovation and Economic Development at KAUST. We also have Mr. Omar Al-Majdour, founding partner at Raad Ventures, and Walid Al-Bala, angel investor at Riyadh Angel Investors, Saudi Arabia. I believe it'll be just a few more seconds until our judges join us. All right, so I guess we will be going ahead. As judges at this very unique competition, I would like to ask a very general but very important question at the same time. What are you most looking forward to seeing today? I'd give the floor to Mr. Walid.
Well, thank you. It's a great privilege to be here. As you know, with events like these, especially a great one like today's, it's just the amount of energy and, you know, sheer willpower to make a difference in the world that, you know, charges me, especially in a tough environment like this. So I'm looking for a bit of energy and expecting a lot of it today.
I see Mr. Jihad also joined us. Mr. Jihad, would you like to say some words?
Yes, absolutely. So events like this, it's very easy to be infected by the energy and the passion of founders, especially after, you know, them working on their companies for a long time, them figuring out very difficult problems, technical problems, business problems, people problems. And so, you know, with events like these, you always leave you know, recharged by the energy that you get in events like this. So that's something in general I always look forward to in events like this.
Dr. Kevin, thank you for joining us.
My absolute pleasure. You know, I love these things. What I'm looking forward to is that magical combination of ideas, talent, and passion. You know, the quality of the things that we tend to see, these things are just astonishing. And I'm really looking forward to the competition.
It's great. What advice would you love to give to our entrepreneurs today? And this is a question.
By the way, you forgot one judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ahmad, I apologize. I didn't see you there, but please go ahead and we'd love to hear.
So thank you. Thank you so much for this invitation. Really, I'm excited to be part of this panel. What I saw last year and the Entrepreneurship World Cup was really amazing in terms of amount of participation, in terms of quality of participation, and in terms of the winners selection. And I'm sure that this will be even better, inshallah, this year. So super excited to be part of this journey this year.
As with all. Any advice would you like to give to entrepreneurs today? Would Mr. Jihad like to say something, or Dr. Kevin? Any advice for our competitors?
I think Dr. Badr hit the nail on the head. The journey to build a company or achieve anything great, you know, you don't win all the battles that you go into. And that's the case in competitions. You have 14 competitors. Some of them will win, some of them will not win. There are no losers. This is a game of experimenting, doing as many experiments and learning from them as quickly as possible. So there are no losers as long as, you know, people learn. And, you know, it's an opportunity to get exposure, to get their name out there, to really polish their pitch for their next investor, for their next important hire. So it's just another day in the life of an entrepreneur. And everybody's a winner, I hope.
It's great advice. Thank you, Mr. Chad.
Yeah, maybe I can add something. Customer. I mean, okay. I work in world-class university research and technology. I love technology, but I also know it's easy to become obsessed with the technology. It's all about the customer. It's all about the market. Focus on that.
That's sound advice right there. Mr. Walid, would you like to give in your take as well?
Actually, I'd like to build on something that Jihad mentioned. So we call this a competition, but really for you to succeed, you have to be part of the community and make that community better. So collaboration and competition are both important, so that you're only as strong as the community and the environment you're in. So take that in mind as well.
And Mr. Omar, would you like to also pitch in, since we're all pitching today?
So it's lovely to participate in such contests and such challenges. And but the main goal here is not really to win this. The main goal is to win the market and to win the change. And this is what I think the main challenge and the main mission. So use this challenge to really boost you to faster and better change in the market. So all the best.
Well, that's sound advice from our judges. Again, thank you all so much. So I think we're moving on to the next phase, and a big thank you to our judges who will be assessing our 14 finalists today. Now comes a very special moment. We're about to start our first series of pitches to find out which one of the best Saudi startups. As a reminder, today's program is composed of 3 pitching slots of 4 to 5 pitches each. During each pitching slot, 4 to 5 startups will pitch back to back. This will be followed by a 2-minute Q&A with each of the finalists. So, without further ado, please allow me to launch the first pitching slot for today's final, during which we will see 5 startups working on transforming the food and agri-tech industries pitch. Please welcome the first pitcher, Nizar Bakhsh from Istidama Industry.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to our 3-minute pitch. Representing Al-Istidama Sanaiya, I am Nizar Bakhsh, and in our project we've designed industrial technology where we convert organic material into organic fertilizer and protein powder. Today we see Saudi Arabia as a major producer of food waste, with over 49 billion Saudi riyal of food being wasted annually, and a shocking 50% of food being wasted in Saudi in comparison to the global average of only 30%. This is a snapshot of Jedda's landfill, where we can clearly see over 2,000 tons of food being wasted and buried daily. These are 2 quotes from King Salman bin Abdulaziz and his Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, where they both pressed on the importance of sustainable development. Our solution: this is the most cutting-edge bioconversion facility, leveraging the groundbreaking technology of black soldier larvae. Now that's quite a mouthful, but in practice it's quite simple. We accept organic material from one side and we come out with organic fertilizer and protein powder from the other side. And to quote our largest investor, this is quite literally the next big thing. Our facility was designed to process over 250 tons of food daily, yielding 20 tons of protein powder and 60 tons of organic fertilizer. Our product, our first and main product, is the protein powder used in fish, poultry, and shrimp manufacturing. We've already successfully signed 5 official offtake agreements with Indian and Chinese manufacturers. Our second product, the organic fertilizer, where we also signed over 10 official offtake agreements with local organic farms. Market analysis: our protein has a market size of 2.3 billion riyal, growing at a 23.8% annually. These are the Saudi vision goals we support. These are the United Nations goals we support. And our founding team: Nizar Bakhsh, Chief Executive Officer; Faisal Raya, Chief Operation Officer; Arulida Mhanna, Chief Financial Officer; Abdul Majid Islam, Director of Business Development. This is our working team with diverse backgrounds in chemistry, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and other backgrounds, who helped design our industrial facility. Our mission is to conserve our kingdom's natural resources. Our vision, which is aligned directly with Vision 2030, Saudi Vision 2030, is to help Saudi being ranked #1 in sustainable development. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nizar. Now, let's hear from our second finalist of the day. Please welcome Asrar Damdam from Uvera.
Hi, my name is Asrar Damdam. I'm the founder and CEO of Uvera, and I'm pursuing a doctoral degree in electrophysics at KAUST. Food waste is one of the most pressing global issues, and perishable spoilage represents 30% of this wasted food. From the farm all the way to consumers, fresh produce loses lots of its value and lifetime due to the long supply chain stages. And when it interacts with the user, it ends up with a very limited lifetime, and it spoils very quickly and go wasted. This is the problem that we are addressing. We are Uvera, and we guarantee our customers a long-lasting fresh food. Our product combines multiple physical food preservation technologies, such as ultraviolet light, and can extend the shelf life of fresh produce up to 63% on average, with no use of chemicals and within only 30 seconds of treatment. We have filed a provisional patent in December 2019. Along with our hardware, we provide a mobile app where the user can track the expiry date of the stored fresh produce and also can track the nutritional intake. Our market size is huge. There are more than 1.4 billion households globally and 5.4 million households in Saudi Arabia. Our initial target market is the medium-sized households in Jeddah. Our revenue model is very straightforward. We're going to have hardware sales, high margin product sales, and app premium subscription fee. Our milestones, we're going to launch our beta version in Q4 2020, this upcoming November. And in Q4 of 2021, 1 year from now, we're going to have our commercial launch. We won several competitions in Silicon Valley, California. We were the first place winner of Draper University competition. We were ranked among the top 3 women-founded stage startups by Sugal Foundation. And we also gained the trust of top-tier Silicon Valley investors like Tim Draper, who's an investor in Tesla, SpaceX, and Skype. He invested at Uvera in January 2021. In Saudi Arabia, we won the MIT Enterprise Forum competition, the 2nd place, and we were accepted at Taqaddam, and we also accepted for tenancy at KAUST Research and Technology Park. None of this would have happened without having a great team with a combined experience of over 25 years in hardware manufacturing, entrepreneurship, science, research, finance, and engineering. Thank you. Hi, my name is Asrar Damdam.
Thank you, Asrar. And now let's hear from our next finalist, Mr. Mitchell Morton from Idama Organic Solutions.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mitchell Morton, co-founder and CTO of Saudi-based startup Idama Organic Solutions. Idama is tackling 2 major problems. The first is the environmental impact of organic waste in landfills, which causes air, soil, and water pollution. And the second is food and water security in arid regions, where poor sandy soils make agriculture unproductive and water intensive. Idama solves these problems by creating a local circular economy, recycling organic waste into specialized soil products that enrich sandy soils and allow farmers to grow more food with less water. Idama does 2 things. The first is to design, build, and operate cutting-edge composting facilities optimized for desert environments. Our facilities integrate the most advanced composting technologies and incorporate challenging locally abundant materials such as palm fronds and are adapted to ultra-high temperatures. The second thing we do is design, manufacture, and sell high-quality soil products at our facilities that help grow plants more productively with less water. And our IP covers various aspects of our processes, compositions, and protocols. Idama's business model has 2 sources of revenue. The first is from organic waste management services, where we charge waste producers for the sustainable disposal of the organic waste. With governments pushing to ban organic waste from landfills and increase the waste disposal charges, this is set to be a $1 billion market in the next few years. The second source of revenue is from the sale of our soil products to landscapers and farmers. With the lack of locally produced alternatives, the high price of imports, and government mandates for sustainable agricultural practices, this represents a $1.3 billion market. And to position ourselves as market leaders, we have the first mover advantage as the first composting company specializing in systems designed for desert environments. and our expertise in desert agriculture that allows us to design high quality products that answer the local market needs. Our business scales by building composting facilities, which provide recurring revenues from waste management services and product sales. We have facilities in the pipeline with mega projects such as NEOM and Diriyah Gate Development Authority, and we're currently building our first commercial scale facility at Kaust that will recycle 5,000 tons of waste every year by 2021. We're in negotiation with the PIF company CERC and hope to secure another contract for a commercial scale facility operational by 2022. And we're looking to expand in Kingdom in 2023 and to the GCC by 2024. We're a young international team of professionals with a common passion for sustainability and qualifications spanning agricultural and data sciences, engineering, business, and economics. And our advisory board includes renowned academics, experienced composting engineers, and regional waste management specialists. And with that, I thank you for listening and look forward to the judges' questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell. Now, please welcome the fourth finalist of the day, Bruno from Orbit Corp's Industry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bruno Aragon, co-founder, COO, and least photogenic member of Orbit Corps. Did you know that GCC countries produce only 20% of their food, and still they use over 80% of their water for agriculture? The reason for this mismatch is that farmers do not really know how much water they should apply, and that managing large agricultural areas is not an easy task. But we are here to change that. We have a solution: satellite field analytics. We take satellite images together with weather information, and we process them together to provide farmers with actionable information they can use to better manage their fields. The way it works is simple. We divide each of their fields into zones with easy to follow advice on how to correct their fields, and farmers can access this information from any internet connected device. Farmers log into their account and can switch between our different information views and 3 image quality settings, where they can see important information about each of their fields. Additionally, farmers can access real-time weather information and weather forecasting. Using our solution, farmers can save up to 50% on water, improve their yields by up to 100%, and save up to 30% on fertilizer. Our business model is a simple subscription service that the farmer can customize to better fit their needs. We charge on average $3 per hectare per month. Over the last year, we have worked on our concept with farmers. We were recently contacted by NEOM and are in talks for a trial project to evaluate the agricultural sector. Last year, we won second place at Startup Istanbul and appeared as Startup of the Week on Arab News. Our customer acquisition process starts with a phone call, followed by a farm visit. Once the farmer agrees to our services, we proceed to install weather information equipment, and then we start monitoring their fields. Our journey started with an initial $20,000 of funding from the Takadam's Accelerator program that we used to develop our processing workflow and implementing our MVP. Next year, we plan to start servicing our first customers and then expand to the MENA region and to Europe over the course of 5 years. Out of the total agricultural market in the MENA region, we started here in Saudi Arabia, targeting medium and large-scale farmers. Our competitors are mainly based in the US and Canada, and are applying similar techniques with good results. What sets us apart is that we are first to market here in Saudi Arabia. Our application is easy to use and easy to implement, and most importantly, we have been working on our process for the last 5 years and designed it to work best on arid environments. So we can say it will take some time for our competition to catch up to us. Why should you trust us? Because our team has a strong technical background and we have been on the field with farmers, so we know what they want. We are Orbit Crops, and together we can secure the food for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. Now let's hear from our last finalist for this pitching series, Mohamed Al-Qurashi from Hydrogen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohamed Al-Qurashi, and I am the co-founder of Hydrogen Project. Based on the United Nations, 2/3 of the world will suffer from water stress by 2025. And unfortunately, our water consumption is increasing year after year. And if we look at household water consumption, we find that around 20% of the water is wasted due to leaks. And these water leaks not only are the major cause for high water bills for homeowners, but it can damage their properties as well. Today in Saudi Arabia, we lose around 700 million tons of water annually due to leaks, and most of it coming from the underground water tank. Our solution is an IoT device that monitors the water level in the underground water tank and shuts off the water supply once a leak is detected and notifies the homeowner. Our device not only provides an early warnings for water leaks, but also allows homeowners to monitor the water level in the tank and set a monthly budget for their water bill. Currently, there are around 10 million houses in the Gulf region, resulting in a market size of 9 billion Saudi riyal at 899 riyal per unit. But initially, we are targeting Saudi homeowners who pay more than 300 riyal for their monthly water bill, with a market size of around 122 million riyals. Our project has 3 revenue streams: selling the device, an annual subscription fee for additional features, and a fee from water leak fix companies when connecting them to a homeowner. We expect if we captured only 1% of the total market to save 11 million tons of water annually and generate 90 million riyals in revenue. In terms of competition, all of our current competitors only monitor the water level in the tank. So our main competitive advantages are leak detection and allowing homeowners to set a monthly budget for their monthly water bill. To date, we have developed an initial prototype for our device and received more than 20 pre-orders through our website. Also, we've been incubated by the Saudi Water Innovation Center. Our team consists of 2 partners, Mohammed Al-Baiti, who holds a master's degree in environmental engineering, specializing in water quality and treatment, and Mohammed Al-Qurashi, who holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Our team members had experience in building previous startups in the tech industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much for your brilliant ideas. I think we can all agree that these are amazing pitches. Now it's time for the Q&A with the judges. So please allow me to welcome back the judges and Nizar from Istidama Industry.
Hello. Maybe I can go first. Love the pitch. Has anyone done this before with the black soldier ants?
Here in Saudi Arabia, no.
No, anywhere in the world?
Yes, actually. So the technology has been available on the global stage for the past 5 years only. But privately, we saw like the first mover advantage was for AgriProtein, where they got $50 million of research funding in 2004. They started in South Africa.
Okay, and just a related question. Is there any intellectual property underpinning this thing that you need to acquire?
No.
Thank you.
I guess as a follow-up to Dr. Kevin's question, and by the way, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was just going to say this is a great idea, and very excited about what you guys are doing. But how do you set up yourself apart from the competition? Like you mentioned, there's no proprietary technology here. How are you going to maintain your market share? How are you going to reserve or maintain your pricing power going forward?
Okay, so this is an industrial technology. It takes a lot of time to actually develop this technology. And right now we believe that in Saudi, we're the leaders. So we have the upper hand in more than one area. First, we have technology superiority over the competition. Second, we have deep-rooted connections with the government that it took us time to develop. And third, we also have deep-rooted connections with the local organic farming sector and the global animal feed industry.
Cool, thank you.
So,
Thank you, Nizar. Thank you for the pitch. I love your website. It breaks down the process and product in an incredible way. So good job there.
Thank you.
You mentioned you secured initial customers in India and China, and but your lab is here. Can you speak a little bit to the logistics of the operation? Is it going to be exporting?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So for the organic fertilizer, it's fully sold here. All our production is going to be sold to local farms. But for the protein powder, we've already secured animal feed manufacturers in both India and China. So 100% of our current protein powder is going to be shipped outside the region, exported.
Is it going to be like this going forward, or is it just, you know, for the test period?
Well, in Saudi,
we can't hear you, by the way.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So was that like before, or did you hear my full answers before? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay. So as I was saying, locally, you only have two players in the fish feed industry. You have Maram and you have Arasko. We contacted both. We started developing a relationship with them, but due to cultural reasons, they are not keen on including
we are losing you again.
I'm sorry. Even though scientifically it's valid, I don't know why this is happening, guys. But anyway, are you with me now?
We apologize, Mr. Nizar, but time is out and we need to move on to the next contestants. I apologize again, but thank you again so much. Now, please welcome back from Uvera.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi.
Maybe I'll go first again. You've only got one provisional patent.
Yes.
Do you have an IP strategy? And the other question is, does this device need any sort of certification for use in restaurants, cafes, the food industry?
Yes, answering the first question, we filed a non-provisional patent to secure the filing date while avoiding the cost associated with the non-provisional application. And that's also give us an extension, 1-year extension to perfect and fine-tune the invention before filing the non-provisional application. So we're filing the non-provisional application in November 2020. And the reason why we didn't file it at that time, because we couldn't afford it. It's very expensive and we didn't have any fund. And regarding the certifications, of course, we need certifications to import the hardware after manufacturing it in Taiwan or China. And we're targeting households. So I'm not sure if, I didn't get the point of the industry and the coffee shops.
No, just whenever you're dealing with food-related products, there's usually a regulatory requirement that goes with it. And I'm just wondering if there's any regulatory hurdles that you'll have to overcome.
Yes, okay, I got it. Yes, we need an FDA approval. The technology, the use of ultraviolet light for food treatment is approved by the US FDA. It was approved in April 2019, but we need to get this approval in Saudi Arabia.
Quickly, please, if you can compare your UV technology with the current UV available in the market. What's the difference between the technology available in the market at this stage? Purification, UV purification.
There is no UV products for food treatment. All the UV products that are existing right now are for water treatment and for sterilization applications. But if you're talking about the wavelength of light, let's say, we're using the exact wavelength of light, which is ultraviolet C. And this has been scientifically experimented for extending the shelf life of fresh food. There's lots of research paper. The research in this area started in 2010. Yeah, researchers in different universities, different research groups around the world have verified this on.
Thank you, Asrar. Again, sorry, and we apologize for this, but time is up. I'd like to welcome our next contestant, Sabrina Vittori from Idama Organic Solutions.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, Sabrina, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. Sorry, for some reason my video is not starting, but if you can hear me, I'll take questions.
Loud and clear. So
okay.
If I can, I'll start with the questions. I think this is a great value proposition that you guys have. I was just wondering, you mentioned in the slides that there are two sources of revenue. Where do you expect the majority of the revenue is going to come from?
So right now, the majority of the revenue is coming from the sales of our products, 96% actually, as it is of today. We are profitable already, but just by selling the product, because what we do is high quality, high value products, thanks to the expertise in desert agriculture of our team. We design product for the farming industry, for specialized industry as well, hydroponic, organic farming. In the future, in the next few years, the market for recycling is developing in Saudi. And with the new government regulations that are coming into place, we will have a huge boost of revenue from the recycling services as well. But right now, all our projects are based on sales of our product and on the clients willing to pay a premium for recycling for sustainability.
Thank you.
Sabrina, can I ask, is your approach, is the Idama approach limited to the region? You spoke about, locally within the kingdom and then GCC. Is there something specific about the region?
There is something specific about the region because what we specialized in is cutting edge composting technology for arid environments. So the MENA region is an arid region of the world, and we focus on this region here. We are based in Saudi Arabia, so for us it's the most obvious market to be in. We can expand to other regions in the world, other arid regions. Our products are also tailored to desert agriculture specifically, so we solve challenges that are specific to desert agriculture, like improving key parameters for sandy soils. And we focus on products that are made by recycling palm waste, which is a local feedstock. And we do that, recycling the palm waste, supplying the local hydroponic industry, which is booming. So this is the first market.
I apologize, Sabrina, but I need to cut you off. We need to move on to the next contestant, and we have our last finalist. Please welcome one of our last finalists. Please welcome back Mr. Bruno Aragon from Orbit Corp's Industry.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Bruno. I'll ask the first question, if I may. What's the source of your data that you use for this? And is it vulnerable in any way? Could anyone switch your data off?
Sure. We are currently sourcing data from 3 different satellites. One from a company in San Francisco that is also a developed startup. So there is not much risk of them going out of business at this point. And from 2 other governmental organizations, one the European Space Agency and another one from NASA. And they are committed to the long-term development of that data set. So on that part, there is no risk of a shutdown. The weather information, at the moment, we have 2 options to rely on installed equipment, so that we control. And the other one is also a satellite-based reanalysis product, so estimated weather data. And that is also a long-term product.
Thank you.
A quick question.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Go ahead.
Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah. After
after you, Jeff.
Just go ahead, Pablo.
Thank you. So Bruno, I'm less photogenic than you are. So I'll just mention a question I had about network effects. I mean, is there a network effect in your business model? Would farmers benefit from having other farmers using this product? And can you mention how, if so?
I wouldn't say there is a network effect on the farmers. There is a network effect for the government. Like the more people that can use these to manage or to keep track of their water use, the better for the government. Like they have a transparent figure to know about consumption without installing a flow meter in some instances.
Got it.
So,
thank you.
All right, it's great. Thank you again, Bruno. Now, last but not least, we welcome back Mohamed Al-Qurashi from Hydrogen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you, Mohamed. I have a quick question on your go-to-market. How would you intend to start selling this the device?
Actually, initially have three channels, which is through social media, where we got our first pre-orders. The second channel is paid advertisements through search engines like Google. The third way is through tech influencers and tech blogs, Arabic tech blogs.
So you're going to the end consumer directly? No?
Directly, true.
Okay, thank you.
What is the technique of monitoring leakage at this currently in the tanks?
Okay, basically we're going to have a sensor that sends the data to the database where it's going to process through AI.
No, I'm talking about the current situation, how people are monitoring leakage and in comparison to.
Okay, in Saudi Arabia, inside of the houses, there are no way to monitor leakage unless it's manually. Once you have suspicion, you say, I have a problem, and you bring to the guy.
Enough. What are the additional features that you want people to subscribe for?
Both are like setting a budget for your monthly water bill, and the other one is checking the water level in the tank instantaneously.
Can I ask my usual question? Do you have any intellectual property relating to this technology?
Not now, but when we are in the process to get a design patent for it.
Thank you.
All right. This sounds amazing, and these were great and very inspiring ideas. These wonderful startups are, very exciting to hear about. So I think thank you all again so much, and good luck to all our contestants. Before we move on to the next pitches, we will hear from a number of great entrepreneurs and experts on what it's like, on what it takes to build a successful enterprise with strong foundations. Please welcome Professor Mohammed Azam Rumi, professor at Prince Mohammed bin Salman College of Business and Entrepreneurship, along with his panelists.
I think Dr. Rumi, you need to unmute.
According to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor in the year 2019 as compared to 2017, there is a 55% improvement in the government policy and support, especially in bureaucracy and taxes. 40% increase in the government programs for entrepreneurship, 30% increase in the availability of finances, and 28% improvement in the internal market dynamics. So this is because of the progressive leadership of the country, which shows that the people in Saudi Arabia are creating their new ventures by building new businesses. Now, for building any business, you need a number of things. But according to the research, 3 things are very important. The first one is the idea and the entrepreneur. The second thing is finances. And the third thing is non-financial business development services. So we are lucky today that we have people who are working in these 3 areas, and they are here with us to answer some of the important questions. So I would like to welcome my panelists. First of all, an entrepreneur extraordinaire, Dr. Abdullah Naim Ilyas, who is the chairperson of CREAM, Saudi Arabia. Then I also have His Excellency Dr. Nabil Koshik, who is the CEO of Saudi Venture Company. And last but not the least, Latifa Al-Wa'lan, who is the founder of Yatuq and also the managing director of Endeavor, which is providing non-financial business development services for the entrepreneurs in the kingdom. So let's start with our panel. My first question is from you, Latifa. And the question is that, can you identify the fundamental elements which make a strong foundation for an entrepreneurial venture?
Well, thank you, Dr. Rumi, for the introduction, and I wish all the contestants here good luck at this year's World Cup. First, it depends. I think when you're thinking what are the strong fundamentals to look for in a company is the timing of the company. Whether it's in the beginning, if it's still in ideation stage, whether it's starting up or is it scaling, and at different timings you require different elements. In the beginning, if you're still in ideation or even startup, we usually look at the addressable market of the business idea, most probably more important than the idea is the entrepreneur himself, or the entrepreneur or the team around him. So that comes first. Having a diverse set of skills and the aptitude to start a business is really important. Then we would look at the business model itself, the margins, and one of the things we look at as well is the type of business, is the category. Is it something more on the technical side, or is it something on the traditional side of business? Because I mean, if you're doing something that's highly innovative, with a lot of tech, what you need to succeed is different than if you're doing something in a more commoditized business where there is, let's say, it doesn't require a high amount of risk or innovation. The list goes on, of course. These are not exhaustive lists, but I guess relative to the type of businesses we're seeing at the Entrepreneur World Cup right now, I think it's more about the combination of entrepreneur or the team and the idea.
But one most important thing, which whenever I ask one of my students that, why don't you start your business? And they said, most of the time they say, I don't have money. So let's ask His Excellency, Dr. Nabil Koshik, that how is the scenario as far as the funding of businesses are concerned in the kingdom? What should an entrepreneur be looking for, and how is the situation? How is the scenario?
Sure. I think venture investment in Saudi Arabia has been witnessing a lot of, I would say, transformation happening. Specifically, if we talk about numbers, like 2019, actually there was 93% increase in the total amount invested, as well as there is a 35% increase in the number of deals invested in Saudi-based startups. This year, specifically 2020, we witnessed the first half of this year, H1 2020, we already exceeded the total amount invested the whole year in 2019. So that's actually doubling the H1, the first half of the last year. And we're expecting that's also going to be keeping the pace of the increasing of the number of deals invested in, as well as the total capital invested in venture investments. And that's because many reasons happens. Definitely there is an aggressive update on the regulatory environment in Saudi Arabia. Laws and regulations has been aggressively updated. The availability of risk capital was an issue, was a gap, now addressed by two main programs. One is the PIF Jeddah Fund of Funds program, as well as the SVC fund program. And this is actually stimulated, as we are seeing. For instance, last year we were having only one angel group. This year we are witnessing more than 5 angel groups evolving in Saudi Arabia, angel investor groups, as well as we are seeing also from few VC funds investing in Saudi-based company locally, regionally, and globally. Now we're seeing more of the funds. SVC only by itself actually invested in 18 funds so far. But I'm seeing that this is also providing available different investors that focuses on different sectors and also focusing on different stages. So it depends on your startup. You need to first understand what stage are you in. Is it the seed? Is it the Series A or B or later stage? And also, what would be the right investor for you? If you're in the early stage, you need to focus on pitching to early stage investors, as well as the angel investor groups. If you are at a later stage, you will be interested in that. But definitely, there is a huge progress happening in the number of deals, as well as the availability of venture investors, including angel groups, as well as venture capital funds.
Excellent news. So this is an excellent news for the newcomers, the new entrepreneurs of the kingdom, that yes, if you have an idea, if you are innovative, if you are unique, if you are looking at the other aspects of the business as well, so funding is available. Dr. Abdullah Ilyas, my next question from you. For the last 9 months or 6 or 7 months, we are imprisoned in our homes, and this is not good for business as well. I want to have your point of view, being an entrepreneur, that what is your advice to entrepreneur, that how they should be dealing with COVID crisis? What are the most important things which they must take into consideration when coming up with new ideas and new businesses?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rumi. This is a great question to ask on everybody's mind. First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you, MISC, for organizing this, and good luck to all the entrepreneurs out there. Great pitches, good luck. The question is great, and let me maybe walk you through what happened to Karim when the crisis hit. You can imagine a business which in its core is traveling people around. When we are all in global lockdown, is not doing well in this crisis. So we had to react very, very fast. When the revenue from the ride-hailing goes down, there needs to be new revenue streams which need to be created or pulled up. What we had already on the roadmap is our super app. The super app was already planned. We were already into deliveries, but we pulled the whole timeline up, and we pulled all the teams into that sector of deliveries. Because when we are at home, you are more so dependent on deliveries. So we doubled down on this. Plus, we looked again into all the P&L items which are there, and we thought in the new normal, will this still be needed? Or can we maybe renegotiate or change it? And as a result, 2 things happened during the crisis and through the crisis. Number one, our super app was launched earlier. with great results. Our deliveries went up 250% year on year as we stand today. Plus our profitability targets were smashed. We are now in 8 countries out of 13 countries profitable in ride-hailing, which was not planned as soon as that. And overall, our super app has shown great results in stickiness. So I believe the learning out of this crisis is you can choose 2 things to do as an entrepreneur. A crisis will hit you, it will either kill you or make you stronger. So choose the latter. And react very fast, choose to look after the new problems which are arising. And the beauty is there is a lot of old problems which had solutions which are not working anymore, which opens huge markets for entrepreneurs. So great times to start as an entrepreneur, in fact, is now.
So what I get from you is that even in the crisis, there is a lot of opportunities hidden. So if you are able to come up with ideas that can meet certain needs of that particular time, there is always an opportunity and there is always a hope for you to be successful. Now, my next question from Dr. Nabil Koshik, His Excellency, from you, because I am so excited to know that venture capital and business angel sectors are thriving in the kingdom. There is so much flow of money. I want, because you are, mashallah, very experienced in entrepreneurial ecosystem, I want to know from you that what do you think, how young Saudis should build a successful enterprise so that they are attractive towards business angel and venture capital companies? What are those elements? Please give us that secret of success. You have to open your mic, Dr. Nabil. Dr. Nabil, you have to open your mic.
So maybe that question should be directed for Abdullah and Latifa through their experience, but I will try my best to answer that question from investor perspective. So definitely one of the major or the main KPIs you need to address is actually that you need to build an investable deal, an investable startup. So if you are joining an incubation acceleration program, or you have a team or a startup actually backed a family or friends, the main objective is actually, if you want to pitch to investors, is that this is an investable deal. And then venture investors, particularly, including angel groups as angel investors, as well as venture capitalists, they are looking for high growth companies. And the main important thing here is actually, it's not only profitable, it's not only working model, but the business model has also to be of a potential of high growth, especially for venture investors, not traditional investors, not traditional SMEs or startups. And that's very, very important. And if you are raising for a particular round, you need also to think about the following round, because you need the capital to help you grow your company to reach to the following round for a future fundraising until you exit the company. And that's very crucial and important. That's why it's very important. I will tap into like some of the criteria as investors. And when we do our due diligence on the deals, first of all, the market of that size, is it big enough for a high growth company? Is the team, the founders, the co-founders are capable to run and manage and operate this company with a potential high growth, as well as other factors. But I think that's one of them. I think the business model definitely, or the product, but that's changeable. But definitely the team capability of actually growing this high growth company is of an interest to investors. And there are many other criteria, but we'll leave it at that.
If I ask the same question to you, Abdullah, very rightly said by His Excellency, that this is a kind of a question which I should be asking from an entrepreneur as well, that what is your experience? What is that make a business so attractive for a business angel or a venture capital company? What is your point of view?
Yeah, so I'm more an entrepreneur than investor. So from the point of view of an entrepreneur, to me, when we have started, there is, I believe, a couple of things we have tried to make right from the beginning. And I have to say, Karim was the force of my startups. A couple of things, a couple of learnings I had through the not so well done startups before. Where in Karim we have done it differently. And I guess in its core, number one is to have a very, very clear vision and a mission which goes beyond revenue and market share, which can lift you up every day, right? Because you will have a good day and a bad day, and you need stuff which pulls you up, and you need a strong story also to attract the best talent. So really a deep vision, strong values, and a strategy which goes beyond market share and revenue is very important. And second, you have to definitely go after big markets, right? And a great book of Peter Thiel is 0 to 1 is actually addressing this exact topic. So you shouldn't be too opportunistic and going only after the big markets. You have to be very passionate about what you're solving too. On the other hand, still you have to think deeply about competition and how you want to deal with it before you start. And then I believe it is important to be super fast. There's no way on earth you make it as an entrepreneur if you're not playing the card of speed. So starting quickly, unlearning what we learned at school, that mistakes are wrong and bad, and just going for it. And even if we make mistakes, stand up quickly and learn and iterate and do it differently next time. All this is super important. And I believe for startups here in the region, it's important to be very local and authentic, because all what we are doing, when you look into what VCs are, the sectors of VCs today, which are hot, B2B and SaaS and specific, fintech, health tech, AI, all these topics are very global. And if you're competing here in your ecosystem against those global players, you have to be very, very local. So I believe that is something we learned in Karim too, that you can compete with global players. They will come to your market. But when you are super local, you win customers, and you are obsessed with the customer out there, the value you are adding to them, and you understand it better and solve it better, then you can make it through all the ups and downs.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. This was really helpful. Latifa, I have come back to you because you are wearing two hats. You are the founder of Yatuk, and which means you are an entrepreneur, and at the same time you are an MD of Endeavor, which is working with a number of entrepreneurs every year. And while you are wearing these two hats, my question from you is that what is the future of entrepreneurship in the region?
Well, Dr. Rumi, we've recently done a study in Endeavor, and we've seen how ecosystems have evolved in the markets we're in. So if you will, let's say in Saudi, if you compare the ecosystem back 7 or 8 years ago, when we first started, there is a lot of difference. We've seen more and more companies grow to become reach hundreds of millions in sales. We're seeing more unicorns coming out from our ecosystems. And we're seeing, in general, the ecosystems evolving. So the potential and the success stories that happened in the recent few years, we expect that to go even bigger in the coming 5 to 10 years. And even for us at Endeavor, we're also raising the bar and raising the expectations from the entrepreneurs who are going through our programs. There is a wealth that is of knowledge and experience that we're seeing developed in our ecosystem, and I think a lot of our new founders can leverage either through mentorship, through let's say choosing the right investor or hoping to attract the right investor to help them accelerate their growth moving forward.
Excellent. Yes, this is my own point of view as well. And based on the research which we are doing here at Prince Mohammed bin Salman College of Business and Entrepreneurship, we have found out that yes, more and more entrepreneurs are coming into the field with unique ideas, and they have capabilities and capacities. And then in entrepreneurial ecosystem, there is more funding available, there is more mentorship available, and that's why the total entrepreneurial activity has increased over the period of last 3 years, year on year. And the future is bright for us. So I would like to thank you all three of you, for being the part of this panel. I would love to talk to you because you are full of information and knowledge and hikmah, mashallah, and I can learn a lot from you, and these entrepreneurs can learn a lot from you, all three of you as well, but we are short of time. But thank you very much. It was lovely having you on this panel. I learned from you, and I'm sure our entrepreneurs have learned from you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck.
Very insightful session. Now it's time for our second batch of pitches for the day. Let's hear from 4 very exciting startups that are working towards improving the health and well-being sector. The first pitch of the sequence is by Hadid Ayub from brightsign.
Hello, and I'm the founder of brightsign. Let me tell you how it all started. Meet Caden. Caden was born deaf to an all-hearing family. His mom contacted me when he was first diagnosed, asking, what is available to help her son communicate? Further research showed that 230 million people around the world are nonverbal. 90% of them are born to hearing parents, but only 25% of those parents learn sign language to help their children with their communication. Sadly, of those, only 2% have access to assistive technology for everyday communication. And that is because assistive technology in the market today is highly expensive, cannot be customized to individual needs, and only solves one side of the conversation problem. 3 years of research, 11 prototypes later, I developed brightsign, a smart glove that can translate any form of sign language to any spoken language. brightsign comes with a customization app that allows their own version of sign language and select the speech language of their choice in the voice that they prefer. It is also priced within the bracket approved by insurance companies and to be issued to the end user as an education benefit or an employment benefit. This is an example of a box our customers get when they order brightsign. It has everything they need to help them get started as early as 3 minutes after receiving the gloves. Our distribution network includes schools, healthcare clinics, and employers who wish to give this technology to their users as early as possible to help them have a better quality of life. We generate our revenue through our sales and the support network and technical support we allow our users to have, and also the training we provide to our distributors. On our timeline, we are currently at a stage that we are ready to scale up. We have recently signed distribution deals in the MENA region, Europe, Russia, and South America. I'm Hadid, the founder of brightsign. I'm currently finishing a PhD in artificial intelligence with emphasis on gesture recognition. My co-founder, Ed, is a software developer who has patented multiple software applications in machine learning. We have been on the media, and the BBC One show alone gave us exposure to 6 million viewers in under 2 minutes. We value the awards that we received, especially the ones that give us access to their markets, like AXA Healthcare Insurance. IBM, MIT, and most recently the Not Impossible Awards, which is our gateway into the United States market. We have also signed distribution deals with assistive technology for education, and we are now approved by 6 schools around the world. I'm here today because I want to make this technology available to everyone who needs it. Join me, and together we can help give a voice to those who can't speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Hadid. Now let's hear from our second finalist of the sequence. Please welcome Iyad Makhoul from تفعيل.
Hello, everybody. I am Iyad Makhoul, acting as VP and Business Development in تفعيل company.
Iyad, I don't think we can hear you.
Unfortunately, due to some issues with the connection, we will be restarting again. So if you could please welcome Iyad Makhoul from تفعيل.
Hello, everybody. I would like to thank you for joining us for Saudi Arabia National Finals. I am Iyad Makhoul, acting as VP and Business Development in تفعيل company. تفعيل is a national leading turnkey solution and consultancy house delivering digital transformation solution to its customers via the use of world-class technologies combined and backed up by solid experience. TFعيل extends its activities based on relationship with strategic partners, leading providers of information technology. Our vision and mission to empower our customers with accurate, meaningful, and easily accessible strategic information that enables supplier organizational performance aims to meet Saudi Vision 2030 that set out a wide range of strategic and economic goals aimed at reducing the dependency on oil productions and government spending. Our belief, as well as global market data, is the new oil. TFعيل has good relation with strategic partners such like Razorfish, UiPath, Microsoft, and Corta. Our 5 W's methodology is to assess your digital maturity, design your digital vision, establish the transformation plan, deploy the transformation and the technology, finally make improvements and optimize them. TFعيل has adopted 4 platforms to secure end-to-end solutions. Masar as a national branded in-house content service platform, Razorfish as enterprise content management, UiPath robotic process automation, and Corta as a data analytics platform. We are so happy to introduce Masar Content Service Platform. Masar is a fruitful result of best practice implementation experience of content service platform combined with latest technologies. Fulfills the life cycle requirements of communication record, including the automation of document workflow, integrated with the SCIR government program, compliance with National Cybersecurity Authority, supported digital signatures and PKI, mobile native applications, data governance, analytics, privacy, and protection. Seamless integration provides standard APIs and native web services. Masar is a national developed asset, requested highly by government, unique sophisticated product, descending overhead curve, recovered initial investment, capital asset value, 15 million plus, initiative development roadmap. Market positioning, we have strong market presence, key accounts and references, match exceeded competitors, excellent reputation of quality, awards winning, certified and experienced staff. As Masar product development, we invest into cloud-oriented business, establish partnership programs, packaging and license models, events, region marketing campaign, target vertical industries and SMBs. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Iyad. Now let's hear from our next finalist, Mo Lee from Peregrine Genomics.
Hello, I'm Mo from Peregrine Genomics. We deliver accurate genomic diagnosis anywhere, anytime. We all inherit 2 instruction manuals from our parents. They often contain errors. Mom and dad can pass on these errors to their baby, causing genetic diseases. Doctors use genetic tests to prevent and diagnose these errors. These tests work like a spell checker for typos. Unfortunately, current technologies often fail. For instance, Dr. Fauzan has many cases where a disease runs in the family, but a spell checker program failed to find any typo. We took the challenge and solved it in a week. Turns out there are pages missing rather than typos. How did we do it? Patient samples are loaded on a portable sequencer, and we use our machine learning technology to look for both typos and missing pages. And we can pinpoint disease risk in real time. Our technology can help parents plan for healthy children and catch disease early. This gives us a $300 million annual market in Saudi Arabia and up to $3 billion in MENA. We can further explore opportunities in the genome medicine market. Our key edge over competitors is the ability to deliver accurate results in record time, anywhere, anytime. We aim to provide superior genetic tests to the healthcare industry. This service model can help us expand locally quickly. Other revenue sources include licensing and certification programs that can help us grow internationally. Our potential customers, such as those in large hospitals and national laboratories, are truly excited by our enabling technologies. We grew organically from the interface of biomedicine and AI. Apart from excellent science, we have strong connections both locally and internationally in science and in business. Last year, we won the Takadam program. We successfully completed product prototyping for many diseases, including a rapid 2-hour test for COVID-19. We filed 7 patents. Our technology has been featured by numerous online news outlets. Now, we are leveraging our relationship with partners to conduct clinical trials, to seek regulatory approvals. We hope to soon be able to launch our products and start to change people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. Now please welcome the last finalist of the sequence, Shahzad Ghauri from Talent Dust Control.
My name is Shahzad Ghauri, and I'm a co-founder at Talent Dust Control. Our startup helps clients reduce the costs caused by dust. The United Nations Environment Assembly has confirmed that dust is costing the MENA region $13 billion a year in lost GDP. Those costs, they can be in the form of operational costs, such as equipment damage, wear and tear, maintenance, cleaning costs, the massive amount of water used for cleaning solar farms, and also productivity costs, such as traffic accidents, illness, and delays. There's also health costs. I need to stress on this. A lot of people don't realize that dust is full of microorganisms, and this causes respiratory infections, such as meningitis in humans. Our solution, it's a spray-on liquid, it's environmentally friendly, it's 5 to 50 times cheaper than alternatives, it's quick to apply and can be used in the short or the long term, and it's made in KSA. You simply spray it onto the ground surface. When compared to a range of traditional alternatives, such as landscaping, water sprays, or structures, our product does come out on top. The market size, it's $2 billion in the MENA region, 280 million alone in Saudi Arabia, across a wide range of industries where there are large land holdings and high value assets that need protection. Our business model is B2B with a 60% gross profit margin. Payment structure, it's an initial fee and around a 20 to 30% annual maintenance fee, depending on the condition of the soil after it's treated. In the last 6 months, we've doubled our customer database and we've generated over $6 million of potential leads with these tier 1 major clients. An example of customer engagement, this is Jeddah International Airport, where we applied dust control with a landscaping green tint, a food compatible colorant. This is much cheaper than using artificial turf or using real grass. Another one here, you may recognize those hills in the background. This is in Riyadh. We did a small demonstration of our clear product and our green product, and feedback has been good so far. In terms of product innovation, when we won the Taqaddum last year, we had 2 products. We've now extended that to Road Effect, which is a totally different product, and it will be one of our biggest sellers. It's suitable for heavy haulage. Also Solar Effect, which generates increased ground reflectance, good for solar farms, and Bio Effect, a more environmentally friendly version. You're all familiar with food miles. Well, the same applies to dust control. There's no point importing products from overseas when we can make them sustainably locally. And with the advent of COVID-19, it's even more important. The team, we have 70 years plus experience. Mohammed and Khalid are my colleagues. And our investment ask is Series A funding or partnership for full ramp up. We are a high margin explosive growth startup in a proven market. And as we like to say, why clean dust when you can control it?
Thank you all so much for these refreshing ideas. And now it's time for the Q&A with the judges. Please allow me to welcome back judges and Hadid from brightsign.
Hadid, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Just my quick question, and it's a little bit ignorant, I'm sorry, but with your machine learning background, can signing be solved by computer vision? Why is hardware needed? Can this be solved by software and a phone camera, let's say?
Yes, so computer vision does recognize hand gestures and body language and facial features as well, but they've got a problem called occlusion, which is separating the foreground from the background. So it cannot exist in a mobile environment when you're out and about and you're moving. It's very difficult to be accurate outside of a lab in a very controlled environment, which defeats the purpose of giving the people the independence and the freedom that I want to give them using the glove.
Maybe I can ask a question. It's an incredible invention. It's an incredible device. Do you have an intellectual property position on it? Is it patented?
Yes, it is patented in the UK and as a PCT in several different markets that we're operating in today.
And are there any, I've never seen anything like it, any competitor products that you'd worry about?
There isn't any commercial product that's competing with us in this space as a smart glove. There are software applications used sometimes, and they don't give the same social interaction and improve the behavior of the people who are using it. And there are some projects that are under research in academic institutions, but none of them move beyond the prototyping stage.
Thank you.
Great product, Hadid. Can you speak a bit about the effectiveness of the product? Have you measured its effectiveness in any way?
I apologize, Mr. Walid, but time is up and we need to move on to the next contestant. So if you would like to please welcome back with me, Mr. Iyad Makoul from تابعوا.
I guess I'll start with Iyad then. So Iyad, correct me, can you please help me here? تابعوا seems to be an IT services company. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Is there anything
actually
special?
Yeah, actually تابعوا, it's turnkey solutions of software and giving IT consultancy in-house. We developed our product Masar, which is a content service platform. Since Saudi Vision 2030 announced, we make sure and to be being active in the plan in terms of digital transformations for the government sector. And currently we achieved a lot. Actually, we have around 30 plus customers doing their business automations, exchange documents, routings, workflow through Masar platform. Joining Yasser program also, and it's already compliance with cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Just a quick question. What is the fastest growing application you have?
Sorry?
At the moment. What is the fastest growing application you have from the collection you have?
Yeah, actually, yeah, as I said, we built Masar product, and this is fast growing comparing to the market share for IT market value. As the vision, and we are expecting to reach to around $16 billion by 2022.
Who's your target audience?
It's a government sectors with different publics and sectors, such like healthcare, education, and public services, mainly ministries also.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, thank you again, Mr. Iyad. And now if you'd like to please welcome back Mo Lee from Peregrine Genomics.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Mo Lee.
Mo, maybe I can go first. Is your service diagnostical screening? Are you actually going to be diagnosing, and are there any regulatory hurdles that you have to overcome for that?
So we provide genomic diagnosis. We provide genomic analysis, and the data will be sent to the hospital, and the physician will do the diagnosis.
So no liability issues for you and the data that you provide?
I assume so, yes.
How do customers, do end customers, you mentioned the parents, for example, do they come to you or are they referred to you by their physician?
Yes, so in the case I mentioned in premarital tests, and they will be contacted by the government laboratories, and they need to go to a facility to run this test. And we will try to sell our product to these government laboratories, so they contract us to provide the service. We are very fast, we're very nimble, and we hold this competitive advantage over the current providers.
Can you talk a bit about the logic behind the pricing? Have you considered other business models?
So I think the current model will help us grow very quickly locally. And other models, as I mentioned, we have licensing models and also providing certification to technicians so they can run our technology. So our technology has an AI, cloud-based AI component. We also have a hands-on molecular biology component. So we can run such a training program so we can grow outside of Saudi Arabia in a faster pace.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so time is up. Again, thank you, Mr. Mo. And now if you please welcome back with me, Shahzad Gari from Talon Desk Control.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Wallah. The point of cost of distributing and cost of spreading such material, can you give us some hints about how it costs?
About the cost?
The cost of the product and spreading the product, the operations cost and the material cost.
Sure. So we have 5 products. Most of our competitors have only 1. Typically the base product, which is the most common one, costs around 2 riyal per square meter for the product, and possibly another 1 to 2 for application. To compare to something like water would cost about 7 times that amount. Just as a general guide.
And how long?
So our product for open areas, it would last around 12 months. At KAUST, we did apply it, and it's lasted up to 3 years, but we warranty it for 12 months. Whereas, again, if I compare it to water, you would need to water on a daily basis, if not every 2-3 hours on a construction site, if you wanted to reduce the dust.
Can I have a question? But this was fascinating, and I really hope it takes off and succeeds. I think anybody who lives in Saudi and knows the dust problems, sees the pain that you're solving. So thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask, is the formulation proprietary? Do you own the formulation? Is it protected? Is it trade secret? How do you stop other people from doing this?
Sure. So such products, most of our overseas competitors in North America, it's been used for 30 years. In 2 years since we entered Taqaddam, I think we've made a decade's progress in just 2 years. We can patent some of our new ones, especially the solar farm product. At the moment, it's
So it seems that time is up. Thank you all very much for these inspiring ideas and insights. Before we move on to the last pitching sequence of the EWC KSA National Final, we will hear from experts on how entrepreneurs can survive in the midst of this global crisis. During the current pandemic, 45% of cash-strapped startup founders regionally have had to resort to changing their business models to survive. Let's hear more on how startups can adapt to overcome these pressures. Please welcome back with me Amal Dukhan and her panelists.
Thank you, Rawan, and it's been really exciting, hearing all of these startups' pitches, the questions of the judges, and that can only, build the excitement towards the end and hearing the results, of all of our, contestants at the end of the day. So, welcome to the session. The session is about survival. Survive. And survival is basically about staying alive. And that's what the companies and the startups during the pandemic had to stay. But the question I think that we will ask our dear panelists, for today is survival enough today, or startups really need to do more in order to thrive and stay, within the current times? We know, as everybody have said correctly, that the startups had to change their business models, had to adapt, had to reform their teams in order to stay in these times. So my guests today are actually contributors, to these times in different ways, in the entrepreneurial, in the government, and in the investor side as well. So let me welcome to this panel my 4 guests here. We've got Ahmed Hamdan, the founder and the CEO of Uniphonic. got Engineer Ibrahim Al-Nasser, General Manager of Digital Innovation Center at MCIT, Qais Al-Isa, Founding Partner at CEO of Vision Ventures, Mohammed Al-Arifi, General Manager in Entrepreneurship Planning at Munshaat. So welcome to all of you. And as we definitely always anticipate, we start with the entrepreneurs, the case and the talk of everything that we have been doing in the Entrepreneurship World Cup. We've got you, Ahmed, here, and I don't know if you agree or disagree that the current times are extremely different times from anything that we have known. Uniphonic have been in the market for a while, have seen the before, the during, and the after of COVID-19. And you have gone through that. I think startups will be eager to hear from you, your experience, during COVID-19, and what are the experiences that you would like to share and our entrepreneurs can actually learn from for the future, when they're building their ventures. To you, Ahmed.
Sure, thank you, Amal, and I'm honored to be part of this, and I hope I share something that the audience can learn from. So obviously, we went through different, I would say, crisis, and this is unprecedented, and it's something totally different than anything else that we saw since we started Uniphonic 14 years ago. And of course, we learned a lot from all the changes that we implement, the failures and the success that we achieved during the last 8 months. So quickly, when I think about the pandemic, I can easily draw four parts how startups have been impacted by the pandemic. And it's very important to understand this so we can learn how we can react. So there are those who are positively impacted, and then there are those who are negatively impacted. Almost every single startup today get impacted by the pandemic. There is no one who didn't get any change. And then there is permanent changes and there is temporary changes. So you either positive, temporary, positive, permanent, and then negative the same. And number one advice is to really understand how are the pandemic changing your business in every aspect, and is it negative or positive, and then is it temporary or permanent. Takes time to realize because there are a lot of changes, and this is like a dynamic kind of scoring because every week is different during the pandemic. But as we advance in the pandemic, there are some clarity that can easily give you an indication where you are. And then if you are in the negative side, you need to think about how you can survive so you can emerge stronger. And then if you are in the positive side, you need to think how you thrive. So you really take all the changes that the pandemic allow you to do, and then build a massive growth based on that. And I will share two quick experience, so I allow more time for my colleagues also to contribute. So we saw a positive impact that we think it will be permanent in the revenue side, because many businesses are relying more in the communication and digital communication. This is where we operate. And for us, it's a big change. It means that we need to make sure that we will still stay reliable, because we need to make sure that we get the performance right and the customers can rely really on our infrastructure and products to provide business critical mission. So we saw customers who grow by 5 times before and after. In average, our customers grow by 80%. If we looked into the current eight month and the last 8 months, which means a big challenge. It's not easy to handle 80% growth without planning to have this growth, and then you need to ramp up quickly. And in the negative side, we saw an impact in the cash flow and the collection, obviously from big enterprises because of the delays in the process and the scarcity of the cash during the pandemic. And this is one of the failure stories that we learned from. So we were not so ready for this. It was tough 2-3 months until we recovered. And so we accessed an alternative financing options. We have to take some tough decision and optimizing our spend. So we adjust with the cash flow situation. And I will end the question with 3 advices. Number 1, you need the mindset and the culture really embedded within the team, so they can adapt, overcome, and they can thrive and survive. And unfortunately, it's not one night success. It's a lot of effort to build that culture and mindset. And you get the fruits when the crisis happen, but you do a lot of work before the crisis to build the right culture in the team. Now, and this is, for me, it's the soul of the startups. And then it comes the brain, the decision making. So you need to make sure that you really understand the impact and the priorities, because obviously you cannot do all the changes at the same time. Then the decision making need to be very strong. You look into data and you listen to customers, and they tell you what's the right thing to be done and what's the right priority. And then number 3, which is the muscle, is the team and processes and the technology that you have. If you have the right team, the right processes, then you're gonna make it through the crisis, and you will thrive and emerge stronger with these 3, I would say, components.
These are really great advices. You've hinted to so many things that I wish we have the time to actually dig deeper in all of them. I love the fact that you said you've been impacted positively, and growth come at a price. It has its own challenges and it has its own work. So you obviously have really been, through both sides. So thank you so much for sharing these beautiful points. And I think that takes us also that most of the startups during that time were actually celebrated in a way when they were digital, right? And everyone was like thanking, God, basically, that they were on a digital platform at that time. And definitely that takes us to Engineer Ibrahim and MCIT. I mean, the regulatory part obviously was a huge part of this whole progression and changes. And we know that MCIT have supported the startups during that time greatly. So can you tell us a little bit how the support to the entrepreneurs happened, during COVID-19?
Thank you. Thank you, dear Amal. Actually, we believe in MCIT as the main player in the digital entrepreneurship ecosystem. The government entities should interfere very fast in these specific times, let's say. I will highlight the 3 tracks we have worked on in the pandemic time. We started with the licensing. We moved very fast with the CITC to license the last mile delivery businesses and applications. We tried to raise the awareness for all businesses and the small businesses to join this licensing program to sustain in that time. And alhamdulillah, we did. The other thing, we focused on the training and upskilling and subsidy. We launched a specific program for the training with our partners in HRDF, the Human Resource Development Fund. And we did the subsidy program as well with them for staffing the businesses. The third thing, and I think it's very important, we launched the virtual meetups. We met with 8 stakeholders in the sectors in the government and in the private. We believe listening to the entrepreneurs and the SMEs and hear their pain points, it's the starting point for us. We have too many initiatives in MCIT and with our great partners in the government and the private, but we believe starting with these initiatives is needed to be highlighted with the entrepreneurs themselves. So I think these 3 tracks worked in parallel in the pandemic time, and we wish we do better in the future, and I will highlight it in the second part.
Thank you so much. And I think you as a ministry, have represented the agility and resilience in its biggest forms. We've seen the entrepreneurial government reactions, that was really fast. And we've heard how the entrepreneurs said that they were part of the decision making. And I think this is what we are, experiencing in Saudi Arabia today, which is part of the ecosystem that we aspire to have. And, seeing that sort of support, would obviously make investors look at this ecosystem in a different way. And that takes me to Qais here, as previously I said, a lot of people, when I used to talk about entrepreneurship and about investment, in Saudi, were surprised that we see closure of rounds. They were surprised that some of the startups were still raising and they were receiving good amount of money actually during that time. So maybe that takes me also to you, Qais here, to share your experience, during the pandemic, and maybe your advices to these entrepreneurs moving forward, when they're fundraising. And you're an entrepreneur yourself, that you go really way back. So you take both sides. So if you can share that, that would be great.
Sure. Bismillah, thank you, Amal. I'm glad to be joining you today with the esteemed guests, mashallah, tabarakallah, and seeing all those great startups pitch today. It's really inspiring. So I'm by nature more of an optimistic person. So I would like to take a different approach. I would say that I think this is a blessing in disguise. I would love to say that instead of saying survive, let's just say thrive, Frankly speaking, from our own experience, we've seen almost 70% of our portfolio companies thrive and benefit from this, what happened in the pandemic. The global ecosystem changed. The level of technology adoption in the region grew so much in these 3 months that it could have been jumps in the next 5 years that we would have otherwise waited for the next 5 years to achieve, Some startups, by the way, also were about, looking to die or were having very difficult times. And somehow the pandemic really gave them a shot of adrenaline somehow. It brought them really up and made them all alive. So, we had the case in one of our portfolio companies where, frankly speaking, before the pandemic, they were, in a sort of, moving towards a very stale state, no growth, and they were not looking very well. The pandemic, for one reason or another, boosted their numbers and made them, thrive again in unbelievable ways. So I like to take that side. Now, definitely there are, as Ahmed said, there are some losers in this. There are so many businesses and so many startups that have been impacted. And now it's the way of how you think in order to adapt to this new norm, let's say. Now, I think I saw all your colleagues said 3. The number 3 seems to be a magical number. So I will tip in my 3 tips today to startups. And they are taken from my own experience, from our own experience as entrepreneurs, as you said, for the last 20 so years, and recently since 2016 from, after being investors. So the number one thing, and I think it's really key, is communication. Communication is key to managing any disaster. Now, what happened is a disaster, by all means. Now, how you look at it and how you react, you can turn it into an opportunity or fail at that disaster, at managing it. So you need to really communicate well internally with your employees, and you need to communicate externally as well with your customers and partners to ensure that everybody is kept up to date, and you want to communicate regularly with everybody. Second point, which is also very important, is as probably Ahmed said, also about the runway, and you said that as well. Definitely cash is king. So you need to really ensure that you plan your finances very well. Do whatever you can. So instead of buying, rent equipment, for example, instead of probably it's wise to delay some hiring. Maybe it's better to change some things in the environment. So it's seek ways to really elongate that cash runway for your company. And last but not least, numbers. So I always say numbers, numbers, numbers. Keep your eye on the ball. See what's happening in your company every day. You need to be really aware of what's happening. I'm amazed sometimes that some founders and some CEOs don't understand the importance of numbers. Don't be, sometimes I say be obsessed even with the numbers. Really, you need to know what's happening. So what's your North Star metric? What are you after? And that changes from one stage to another. And what have we achieved today? What are the numbers that we have achieved today? So you can also plan for the next days ahead of you and give your team a clear way of how to move next. I'll stop here to give others time to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And obviously, entrepreneurs don't like to think of numbers at the early days. So talking about numbers make them, I think differently now. Start with numbers, end with numbers all the time. So, and that takes me again to Mohammed. And here, Munsha'at's role have been, an integral player basically during the pandemic, with so many of the services and the support packages that have been offered to the entrepreneurs and to the SMEs during that time that have struggled, during the pandemic. So Mohammed, can you share with us, some of the support packages, the services, the kind of, initiatives that was actually launched by Munsha'at during these times?
First of all, thank you, Amal, and thank you for the Entrepreneur Support Cup for hosting us here. And I'm very happy to be with my esteemed colleague here. So you previously mentioned agility and resilience, and I know that agility and resilience is not a luxury or a good to have, and the pandemic has proven that it's a must have and it's a necessity. Us as Munsha'at, we are an organization like all others that we're operating in a certain way, and after the pandemic we had to be resilient and agile, where we have converted all the different services that we offer to reach our target beneficiaries without the pandemic being in our way. So we've converted almost all the different services that we offer to be delivered electronically, virtually. We've launched a mentorship app that reaches tens or hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries during the pandemic time, which is very, very much needed during crisis. You need to always seek advice and mentorship. We've launched from capability building, the Munsha'at Academy, which was very active during the pandemic. We've activated our entrepreneurship culture and awareness and discussion to share knowledge, to share information between entrepreneurs during pandemic, share tactics, share what to do and what not to do through multiple events daily throughout the pandemic time. And of course, the government has pushed billions of stimulus packages to help entrepreneurs stay in business, to help them go through this cycle. Of course, some entrepreneurs will face it more difficult than others, and as my colleagues mentioned, some has benefited from this time or from this experience that they are forced in. So basically, I think one main lesson that we have learned and that we have provided as support through mentorship and different sessions to our entrepreneurs is now they are forced to look at their business and see how they can succeed, which is excellent for them in the long run. Maybe it's not the best position they have they found themselves in back then, but it's very good for them to look towards the future. How can we, going forward, do better? How can we operate more efficiently? How can we generate new revenue streams? How can we move faster, make decisions faster? I think that is looking at the full half of the glass. That's something that we have worked with our entrepreneurs to support them in identifying and navigating through.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. And surely we can attest to that. All our sessions were held in Munshaat digitally, and we were able to reach, all the audiences that we wanted to reach. So because our entrepreneurs are waiting in the next pitching session, but I do really want to benefit from you one last time, before we move forward to the pitches. Our time is really tight. So I'm going to give you a challenge. It's actually an entrepreneurial challenge. 30 seconds for each one of you to share, something relevant to what you offer. So I'm going to help you a little bit. So Ahmed, as an entrepreneur, if there is 1 or 2 or 3 words that you will say to any entrepreneur to remember always and stick to, what are those?
Yes, so I was ready for that, Amal. So lead, I would say, lead the change before change lead you.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Ahmed. That's well said. All right, Engineer Ibrahim, what's next from the ministry? And in highlights for people to await for.
What is next? It's a big question, Amal, but I will go back to Qais, the 3 number.
Okay.
I would say for the entrepreneurs to focus on agility, to look for new opportunity, and have your talent within your organization.
Lovely. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Qais, are you going to stick to another 3 or you give us a 1?
I'm going to give you 2 this time.
Okay.
Because it's 30 seconds. So one thing, I think we talked about this and maybe you alluded to this. So as investors, we continue to invest today. And I think a lot of investors have a lot more appetite today to invest rather than the opposite. One thing is very important, and I think people should always remember, or leaders of companies should remember, it's better to make a wrong decision fast than to make a right decision slow. So
that's very good one for all of us. For all of us, Qais. Thank you so much for sharing this. Mohammed, final words from you.
Yes.
So could be personal, could be anything that you feel they should hear today.
Well, I want to say mentorship 5 times. That would be 5 words. But also, I encourage everyone to the government has invested in entities such as Munshaat. All our services are free. Everyone is and they are designed to fit your needs. So I encourage everyone to see what best fit their projects, their companies, their startups. Try them. If you fail, that's good. Then you have more knowledge going to the next try and the third, and until you make it.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Well said. Always ask, always seek mentorship, always keep trying. Thank you so much to my 4 guests. We hope to have you in other channels on a longer time, but it was certainly very valuable time. Thank you so much to all of you, and moving to Rawan and to see the next pitches. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you, Amal, and thank you so much for our guests. It was a very important and very insightful session. Moving along now, it's now coming to a very exciting time in our program as we are heading to the last pitching slot of the event with 5 great startups operating in the e-commerce and trade sector. Please welcome our first pitcher, Timothy Abbott from Upskillable.
Hello, my name is Tim Abbott. I'm the co-founder of Upskillable and the Chief Product Officer. So organizations lack the talent insights that drive performance. And so because of that, improving employee performance is extremely difficult. And so we decided to build a system that would allow us to leverage the power of data to build great teams. So how do we do that? We do it by assessing incoming and existing talent across 3 areas: across competence, the ability to do the work; commitment and engagement, the willingness to do the work; and connection, the psychological safety and finding meaning in the work. And so here's an example of an employer candidate job fit comparison across 3 dimensions: cognitive skills and personality fit. And here's a comparison of competencies by department. Based on the department title, you can make a comparison between departments and between people at the same organizational level. Here's some written instructions on areas of improvement of a particular individual. Our target markets are MENA and the UK initially. That market size is around $4.1 billion US. It's quite unique in giving insights across various metrics that our competitors do not really assess against. So how do we acquire customers? We do lead generation, and then we do some qualification, then a little bit of pre-sales, and then we negotiate and close, and then give access to the system to our customer. So here are some of our customers. Some of these are repeat customers. Our growth is based on quarterly revenue based on our deals that we've won. We're at about $800,000 for this year. What our customers use Upskillable for is for talent acquisition, organizational transformations, L&D planning, and apprenticeship programs. Our founding team is Dr. Tagreeda Saraj. She's the CEO and co-founder. I'm Tim Abbott. I'm the CPO and the co-founder. And Suhail Al-Qureshi runs our UK office. He is our COO and co-founder. We'd like to thank you for inviting us to the finals of the Entrepreneurship World Cup, and we look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Now let's hear from our second finalist of this last sequence. Please welcome Hiba Al-Shaki from IFF Machines.
Hello, everyone. This is Hiba, and this is Kubo, our mini educational robot for kids. IFF is the largest platform in the MENA region to be selling machines, raw materials, and spare parts. It's definitely a very easy decision these days to make an online purchasing decision, but not when it comes to buying a machine. Let's take Sarah for an example. Sarah wants to start her own business from home with a limited budget, but she's worried about the Arabic language, maintenance, training, and this is where we come in. We're going to guide her through the process to see what's right for her. So as IFF, we do a localized procurement platform for machinery and materials and spare parts with after-sales services. Let's take another case study. Ar'ar, Fab Lab from Ar'ar. He needed to set up his lab. So with us, he did not need to travel or do 50,000 riyals. They got delivered within a week, and he got on-site training services. At the moment, we provide over 1,000 products of machines, raw materials, and spare parts, and of which are exclusive to IFF. Knowledge and know-how is power. We're bootstrapped, and we've made, with almost zero paid marketing campaigns, 50 million riyals in sales. We've supported lots of entrepreneurs across the region to start or improve their own businesses. We've also catered to the large segment, such as educational, factories, government, and others. There is no big player in the market at the moment. Technology has become more accessible in terms of pricing and usability, and there is a global trend for startups, and every business does need a machine at some point in their business, of which you're going to find in IFF. A customer's journey starts with a machine. After that, he has to come back for consumables. Also, we do import and store goods in our warehouse here in Saudi Arabia. We are the only ones in the region to be catering to both a big catalog and after-sales services. Me and Anmar have been working together for over 6 years now. We're a team of 12 and hopefully growing. Our vision is to become the leader of this segment in the market in the MENA region. These plans are already under progress. And this is all. Thank you very much for your time and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Hiba. Now let's hear from our next finalist, Yusuf Al-Dabbagh from Thimar.
Bismillah. Hello, everyone. My name is Yusuf Al-Dabbagh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Thimar, a fintech startup. SMEs have limited access to liquidity from traditional channels due to the lack of financial reports requirements and collateral. And they are the backbone of any economy, so their rejection affects the whole ecosystem. Our solution to this problem is Thimar, a peer-to-peer purchase financing platform for SMEs that connects investors with SMEs to finance their purchases from vendors. The market opportunity is being propelled by Corona, as it made it even harder for SMEs to sustain or have access to liquidity. And as well, regulations, as a financing license has been a recent requirement for any company that wants to sell on installments on one side, and on the other, fintechs have been enabled to function in KSA, and recently the crowd lending regulations have been published, and it's expected to be activated in a few months. According to SAMA's report, that SMEs were lent only 3% of all available amounts versus 20% in developed countries. So there is a massive potential for sustainable growth in the future, not mentioning the international expansion. The addressable market is huge, even at a very conservative level, as we're forecasting to process purchases of at least 300 million with a CAGR of 80%. Our business model is scalable, forecasted to be profitable by year 3, enabling SMEs to purchase goods for up to 500,000 and finance it for up to 12 months from vendors through the liquidity provided by the peer investors. Monetization takes place in 3 places, starting with the success fees, then the negotiated discount with the vendor, and lastly, the APR, which is shared with the peer investor. We're differentiated as we'll be the only one focusing on purchase financing for SMEs among our competitors. Plus, we'll avoid using tawarruq, which provides direct liquidity to SMEs that has its own different views among scholars. Our team is seasoned entrepreneurs, mature with diverse experience covering banking, corporate lending, digital marketing, development, IT, and corporate law. At the end, let's expand SMEs' runway and increase their chances of success. Thank you, and happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Yusuf. And now, if you'd like to please welcome the 4th finalist of this sequence, Abdullah Al-Mazrou from Miqyas.
Assalamu alaikum. Abdullah Al-Mazrou, founder and CEO of Miqyas. Thank you for having me. I love shopping online. It's just very convenient. So many options that get delivered right to your doorstep. But although it's convenient, there's a big problem, which is the clothes we get just don't fit. So the return button is clicked. And what bothers me even more is that bespoke garments like thobes, abayas, we can't even buy those online. This is more of a stressing problem to a bespoke garment retailer, since they cannot take advantage of the fast-growing fashion e-commerce market. And existing players suffer from really high costs of returns, because you consumers expect free returns, then use those free returns when you get the wrong size. This is clearly a broken system, and this is why we founded Miqyas. We're a SaaS company specializing in developing novel computer vision and AI solutions. Our mission is revolutionizing the fashion industry. This is how we're going to do it. We've developed 2 products fully in-house. Custom Fit takes 2 images and produces exact body measurements. Size It asks simple questions, then recommends the perfect fit on all brands. Our clients that use Size It enjoy a button, their customers click on it, answer a few simple questions, and then their sizes will be displayed on all product pages. For Custom Fit, they click on Get Measured, choose to do it themselves or with the help of someone else, follow the instructions, and have 2 pictures taken of the front and the side of the body, and then their measurements will be sent directly to the retailer. We've been growing rapidly in Saudi Arabia, and the plan is to expand within the MENA region and enter the global market next year. And this is what the global competitive landscape looks like. Not only are we cheaper than all of our competitors and our service is on par or even better, but we also offer both bespoke and pre-made garment solutions, as well as custom measurements tailored to our customers' exact needs. In addition, we capture valuable data from Size It and Custom Fit users, which our clients find extremely valuable because they're about demographics and body dimensions. They can use that to optimize all across the board, from manufacturing to supply chain, all the way to marketing. And they can choose simple subscription packages with an option of an unlimited customized package to enterprise clients with a free POC period, which we finished with a few clients and are currently in the process of integration. We would not have been able to do this if it wasn't for a talented team that came from diverse backgrounds, from computer science to business, all the way to physics and math. And we want to let you guys know that the next time you're shopping online and find a garment that looks just fine, stop wondering if a small is too tight or if medium is what's right. Just click on that sign and we'll recommend you the right size. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abdullah. Now let's hear from the last finalist, Mustafa Raslan from Converted In.
Hello everyone, I'm Mustafa Raslan, co-founder and CEO of Converted In. And I'm here to tell you more about my friend Afnan, who built her own clothes shop from the ground up, and which she started to do the segmentation and another machine learning to do the recommendation for the products. That didn't end well for her, so she usually had to wait 14 days until the media buyer updates the segmentation, and then they couldn't handle more than 100 concurrent campaigns running, and then they couldn't handle the 1,300 automated audience created. So that was until we created Converted, and that changed how her business was running. So Converted In is a customer marketing platform where it draws data from every and single touch point, and then the unifier comes unify all this data and then segment those customers, and then the recommender will recommend which is more suitable to be shown to those customers on which platforms. All of that is automated, and so we already integrated with WooCommerce, Shopify, the number one, and for the social destinations, our platform automatically runs ads on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, and it draws the ad data from endless endpoints. How it works: while we are onboarding our customers, we ask them to grant us permission to their social networks, accounts, and business accounts, Pixel, etc. And then we draw data from their stores. So we take orders, customers, and the product feed, and then through our commender and segmenter, we start working on all of this and to run ads and generate lookalikes, and then through the recursive learning, the platform will start adding up to that. So why they would use our Converted In, other than saving time and a lot of cost that's being wasted out there, they have more than 300 ready-to-use segments, which is built by highly trained AI scientists, and autopilot campaigns that cannot be handled by normal persons are alongside a localized audience and also the custom audience builder. We are working to integrate more platforms to ease the access and onboarding of our customers everywhere, and we enhanced the lookalike according to our customers' feedback. We have direct and indirect competition, and some of them have conflict of interest, so that means they will ask the customer to keep, which is the merchant, to keep spending so they can make more money. We charge our customer based on subscription, and we have enterprise. Our total addressable market is around 24 million, and it's growing only 14,000 e-commerce and KSA, but we're around the full pace of peak. We have been working in the ads and the ad automation for the past 15 years. We have built lots and lots of successful products, and it's about time to build that product and make it success. Thank you. I'm looking forward to talking to you more in the Q&A.
Thank you so much, everyone. All these amazing ideas are very intriguing and very interesting. And now it's time for the Q&A with the judges. So if you please allow me to welcome back the judges and Timothy from Upskillable.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
How can you approach the long tail of the market? I saw that most of your clients are big corporates. How can you approach the smaller and micro businesses?
The smaller businesses would be approachable basically online, right? The main part of this is that right now we see just practically more value in the larger part of the market because they're more concerned about the engagement and data of their particular employees. So their employees and their new hires. So they're more particular. So that's what we found. I mean, we've tried to go to smaller customers, and they're less particular about, you know, what type. I mean, spending on what type of employees that they're bringing into their organizations and their current organizations, type of, you know, how the talent is, you know, engaged inside of their organizations.
Tim,
Tim, I noticed that your product is relying on data. When it comes to you know, people, how do you avoid bias in the data?
So can you ask it one more time, Waleed?
So I was asking, since your product relies somehow or another on data to evaluate people and candidates, how do you avoid a bias that's embedded in that data?
So part of the data is things like skill assessment. So practically, you know, when you're looking at skill assessment, that's pretty straightforward. It's right and wrong. Part of the data is looking at, you know, the type of employee that you want. So it's looking at particular what type of psychometric data that you want to see. So the organization kind of sets up a core profile, and then that's the system basically generates which one is the most appropriate. So that's how we avoid that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And now we would like to move on to the next contestant, Hiba Al-Shaki from IFF Machines.
Hello, everyone. تفضلوا.
Hiba, I noticed that part of your business is reselling, but there's another part that's about the marketplace. Where do you expect, in terms of direction, the majority of your revenue is going to come from? Where's the innovation going to happen, really, and differentiate you from, you know, any regular reseller in the future?
Currently in Saudi, all the resellers, they have very small catalogs. And
I noticed that part of your business is reselling.
Oh, I was hearing an echo. Okay, all local businesses here in Saudi have very small catalogs and they have very poor operations. So we're doing both a big catalog, after sales services. We're covering both. In terms of what's more feasible, it will depend. We see a marketplace as only to cover all the resellers in the region. Like someone who had wakala for an agency for over 30 years, but definitely we're not going to become an agent now. Especially with European brands, they respect a lot agency terms. So they become a marketplace, and we only do it with verified resellers. Of course, it's not an open system. So most of the revenue would come from our stock and the drop shipping, but mostly our stock. And we do have exclusive brands.
Thank you.
Can I ask, how specialized is your inventory, and what's your top selling product?
Our top selling product are laser machines. For over 5 years, top selling technology. At the moment, we're specialized in light industrial equipment. So it's laser machines, CNC routers, robotics, 3D printers, any computerized machines that are not humongous, very small part of a production process.
Thank you.
Hey, but what can increase your sales by 10x, let's say? What would you need to increase the size?
Diversify our catalog, introduce more brands, and sell to the MENA region, both. And we need availability of stock because we're almost always out of stock.
Interesting.
Sorry to hear that, but time is up. Thank you, Hiba. Now, please welcome back Yusuf Al-Dabbagh from Thimar.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Yusuf. Why you don't provide money to the lendees without going to the buying process?
Thank you for the question, Homer. We found that it will give us a good differentiator. This is the first thing. And after digging deep into the solution that we wanted to get into, we found out that doing it this way will help creating a relationship with the vendor and help solve a problem to the vendor as well. Plus get out from utilizing tawarruq, which has its own issues among scholars. So we will be buying the equipment or assets and then reselling it with a profit, murabaha.
But don't you think that this will slow you down?
You are correct. It will slow us down from one angle. However, introducing this new party of the vendor will give us a faster access to market, as we are already in talks with big players in the steel industry, in the textile industry, and in the power industry, and we are planning to sign with them MOUs as they're planning to introduce us to their small customers, as we will be considered to them more of a sales engine. So it's both ways would work, and already we have competitors who are doing great, however, approaching it from that angle that you were talking about.
So Yusuf, financing SMEs comes with a certain degree of risks. Is there any kind of innovation that you and your team did here in this area to mitigate risk for you and your investors?
Yes, firstly, we're here not to eliminate risk. We're playing a bit with risk. We'll try for sure to reduce it through an innovative credit risk policy, to be able to include ways to assure that we would be able to get or retrieve whatever it's possible if anything was defaulted. And the first thing is that
we apologize, Yusuf, but it's now to move on, and we would like to welcome back Abdullah al-Mazroor from Miqyas.
Assalamu alaikum.
Maybe I'll go first. How do you actually protect your market? I mean, do you have a proprietary position? Can you stop other big online retailers from just duplicating what you're doing?
That's a great question, actually. And early on, we've been thinking about that exact question. And we came to the conclusion that filing for patents and whatnot, it would be really hard to police. And it got us so much hard work and research to get to where we are. So we chose to just have it as a trade secret, that unique blend of technologies that we've came up with.
Thank you.
How big can this become, do you think?
Well, actually, I'm really proud that we developed such technologies with such a small team. Our competitors have really large teams with over 50 employees. So we have an advantage of lower overhead. And what we've been doing now is underselling them. So our costs are cheaper than all of them. So the plan is to do what Amazon did, basically undercut the competitors, and then we gain market share, and then we can raise prices later on.
So obviously you have a great product. Can you talk a bit about how you're going to distribute it?
So initially, we talked to businesses, directly to businesses. We have plugins for Magento, Shopify, and all of that. We're working on making those available publicly and then advertising them. So we expect to have both a passive income from people who just stumble upon our products on these marketplaces, and as well as contacting big players and giving them a free POC period so they can try our product and make sure that it's actually great. And then we offer also a free month so that they can see that the ROI that we claim will provide is actually what they will see.
Right. Thank you.
Any accuracy measurement?
Yeah. So for size it, the accuracy is.
We apologize, but time is up. Thank you, Abdullah. And now please welcome back Mustafa Rislan from Converted In.
Hi all.
Hello, Mustafa.
Hello, Mr. Gad.
Your presentation and your website talks quite a bit about AI. Can you speak a little bit about what's proprietary in how you employ machine learning algorithms or data, or what's special?
Okay, so mainly, as you got from the presentation, that we are ads automation platform. So we are serving the merchant to be able to target their customers and retarget them online and so on. So part of the data that's coming to us is not complete, like they don't have the genders of their customers, and it's crucial for targeting people. Other things like which category to be targeted with which ads and so on. So the AI is integrated deeply in our system in each and single turn, starting while we are drawing data from the store, ending by providing social platforms with taxonomy collections so it can be targeted correctly online. So it's along the process, actually.
Okay, so you have, let's say, classifiers to fill in the data that's missing, I guess. That's the part that I...
Yeah, that's the first part. Then for the unifier, it goes and make use of the smallest data. Let's say that while we are digging in the merchant data, we found that this customer keep buying only using coupon. So the segmenter put those people in the ready segment that were built using machine learning algorithms and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, any other questions? Actually, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And now we're moving on to the next segment. Finalists, speakers, judges, and dear participants, thank you all for joining us in this very exciting evening. We've now come to an end of our pitches. We've heard from 14 bright entrepreneurs, and now it's time for our judges to regroup and designate the Saudi EWC 2020 winners. In the meantime, we will learn more from our next panelist on the importance of choosing the right partners and investors when starting a business and what makes a startup thrive. Please welcome Tuba Tirekli, Executive Advisor and to Chairman, Projects and Investments, Lead Fagih Group, and her panelists.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our panel. Today, we are very blessed to hear about Saudi Arabia's leading role in the global entrepreneurship ecosystem and the results of the recent Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report, as was released early this week. And in addition, we have 14 bright finalists for this competition, prominent judges. And thank you for everyone who's organized this, because I have two amazing guests, Dr. Mazen Zaidi, who I'm very proud to know from earlier on while he was in Sagia, and right now he is the Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Ministry of Investment. He is a leader and a pioneer of engaging foreign investors and entrepreneurs in the VC community here in Saudi Arabia, and highlighting the opportunities that are here for foreign investors and Saudi entrepreneurs, as well as he is the leading person in getting soft bank vision fund companies to enter into Saudi Arabia. And he's also a board member on Global Entrepreneurship Network. Welcome, Dr. Mazen. And our next speaker is Engineer Mohammed Jarallah. Engineer Mohammed comes from a private sector background of many projects in many variety of sectors, and is currently the GM of investments in Riyadh Valley Company. As you might know, Riyadh Valley Company is a semi-government or privately owned version of investments under King Saud University. And both are impressive in their lineup of entrepreneurs that they have supported. So, gentlemen, as you have heard throughout the sessions today, and we've been witnessing in 2020 what has been going on, what exactly happened? I mean, this is the most progressive year of Thrive there is, with 102% rise in investments compared to the same period last year. So is it because of government support programs? Is it because our entrepreneurs got brighter? Or is it because there's a need to find innovation? I just want to ask you these questions. Dr. Mazen, can we start with you, please?
Yeah, definitely, Tuba. Oh, first, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here with you today. So I think it's more than, there's more than one element to this. One of them, of course, is the Vision 2030 and the opportunities that I've been showing on the surface, the huge demand of the market. But of course, the whole wave of the entrepreneurship, when it first started, let's say about 10 years ago here in Saudi, I think what enabled it more and kind of pushed it to what we've reached today is more of the government enablement that has been happening in the last couple of years. There is a lot of interest from entrepreneurs. Actually, they're having these success stories, as Kareem as well, and also the interest from the investors now. The number of VCs that we have also in the region. All of this kind of helped in having these amazing deals, whether in Saudi or in the region in general.
Thank you. And to validate your point, you know, there were days we had 1 or 2 VCs, and today we have dozens of VCs. So we're very lucky. And I want to ask Engineer Mohammed, how do you feel? What's happening? What's making the ecosystem so alive right now?
First, thank you for having me, Tuba. And well, I think I concur with you and Dr. Mazen that this has been happening for the past 10 years, but we've only now are seeing the results because it's an aggregation of all aspects from the government and from the private sector. And what we've been seeing happening is increased number of VCs, increased number of incubator and accelerators, and increased number of entrepreneurship. And I think we've now passed the learning curve where we can produce something that we can get at least some kind of research or some kind of idea to the commercial market. This attracted investors alongside with the support from the government, which was very obvious in Vision 2030. It has a dedicated section in 2030. So I think all of that contributed to what we've been seeing today. And I think what we've been seeing with the exits with Kareem and Souk and what's going to be happening in the future, and I think also with the efforts of the Saudi CMA and Tadawul and Numu markets, will have exit options. And once all of these are there, I think our investors will be very excited into taking on risk because they can see light in the end of the tunnel, and they can see ways where they can take these ideas into the market and make money for themselves, and also bring in the technologies to the masses.
Well, I fully agree that, as we have seen in the pitches as well, most of these companies have taken years to mature to a level where they have gained traction and solid partners and teams. And with that, I want to ask Dr. Mazen, you've done quite a lot of matchmaking among partners, and partners are not just the co-founders, but also the early sets of investors. What's the magic mix? What should we see more of, in your opinion, when it comes to partners?
So I think it's for talking about as entrepreneurs, if you want to look at that kind of partnership, it always comes to having the two sides of the business and the tech. For a period of time, we're more focused on the business side. There wasn't a lot of focus on tech. Most of it was outsourced. Now I think entrepreneurs
understand it more that they have to have a tech co-founder, and this has been happening in the last couple of years. This kind of combination, which is the right combination actually. And when it comes to partnering, even with VCs, as you mentioned, we've got a good number of VCs in Saudi, in the region. VCs have been trying to provide more than just capital, but smart capital. So it's that partnership that they are looking to support these entrepreneurs in the best way possible. So everybody understands it's a win-win situation.
Win-win. I like to hear win all. The country should also win, right? So going forward with Vision 2030, I think we have noticed a growing number of diversified sectors as well. And I want to ask Engineer Mohammed, most of the startups we saw today are coming from R&D backgrounds and strong industrial backgrounds and are very diversified across healthcare, agri-tech, smart tech, AI, etc. And we know with the government projects that are up and happening, there are more opportunities to come. So what should entrepreneurs look for in a partner, knowing that the ecosystem is hugely and vastly growing across all sectors?
Well, I think if you look at it from the angle of diversification, so you'll definitely be able to get some kind of trends that will be happening out of Vision 2030. For example, we know that solar energy will be big. We know that healthcare will be big, at least in Saudi. So for those startups who are within that realm of sectors, I think they have to look into two areas. First is, what do they need from their partners within the startup itself? So do they need the technology support? Do they need the commercial support? Do they need the business? Do they need the strategy? And then there is the other side of the VC. I think with the number of VCs that we have in Saudi and the more that are coming, I think there will be a good pool to choose from depending on which sector are you in. For example, if you choose to go into healthcare, you need to go into these VCs who are active in healthcare and they can connect you. And I think one more angle is, I think that the Saudi startups we've seen in the past 2 years or so are startups that can grow beyond Saudi. So maybe that it's now the time that those startups look for partners, even non-Saudi VCs or other investors that can bring them and expand them in places either in the MENA region or even beyond.
I really love the last part of the comment you made. The market size is very, very important, and the ability to expand beyond borders. It's huge for especially those that want to grow in a startup as a partner and the investors. So Dr. Mazen, what in your opinion would be a right legislative setup? Is there a certain shareholder structure or legal structure that entrepreneurs should be aiming for when they start up to excite future investors?
So currently, what's happening is that most VCs, when it comes to legal structure for startups, is that they require to have a holding company. What's happening now is that startups are setting up in offshore kind of jurisdictions at AGM, Cayman, BVI, etc. And then they would be able to, that holding company would be owning the local Saudi company. So hopefully that will change very soon in the future when we have startups more setting up here in Saudi. There's a lot of work that's happening in the government to kind of develop new regulations and new frameworks, etc. But in general, I think going to the point that when you talked about the region is that I think we try to look at it as a kind of a connected ecosystem. So definitely we always tell startups not to just focus on Saudi. It's the whole region that they should be looking at. So we've always encouraged whether foreign startups that are starting in Saudi or even Saudi startups to think about expanding within the region. And I think that's actually one of the advantages that we have in the MENA region, is that the language, the culture is almost similar. So there's a lot of advantages for startups that are setting up in Saudi and expanding in the region.
I hear you. It's an impressive 350 million market if you look at it in terms of volume, growing year on. And what in that case, I want to ask you, do you think, and with this question I'll tie up, is there any watch out the investor or the entrepreneur should have when they're reaching out to any investors or new partners?
I think it's what we're seeing actually with most of the startups right now is that it's, as I mentioned before, it's more a combination between both. Investors are looking for good startups, good teams that are able to execute and deliver. Entrepreneurs are also looking for VCs that are able to provide the required support, have expertise in vertical sectors, etc. So definitely, I think based on even what Mohammed mentioned, having this large pool of VCs and all of this interest in entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs in Saudi and the region, I think there's a lot of hopefully we're going to see a lot of success stories in the future, as Kareem and a lot many more, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Dr. Mazen. Engineer Mohammed, any thoughts from you on the watch outs of reaching out to new partners or investors from entrepreneurs?
I think probably they should look for investors that align with their strategic goals. And also in that sense, they also should be watching out from strategic investors who are big players in the space they're in, because investments from such investors in an early stage might affect their follow-on investors to join in. We've seen this case in a couple of investments we've looked at. But I think if the strategic goals are aligned, I think that they'll be in good hands.
I really appreciate both you gentlemen and your thoughts and guidance to entrepreneurs. As you have rightly stated, choose your partners and investors wisely and carefully. It does alert your follow-on investors and future partners as to your ability to make the right decisions. Most of what we see in today's economy that have received high investments are usually people that have had the time and the due diligence and have made the effort to choose the right partners to begin with. Wishing everybody in the competition all the best. And with that, I would like to hand it back to our dear MC, Rowan. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuba. Thank you so much for our guests and panelists. Great session, everyone. We're only a few minutes away from knowing who the EWC KSA winners are. But before that, we will hear a few words from some of last year's EWC KSA winners and what they have been up to this past year. Please welcome Ms. Mark Tester, co-founder and CSO of Red Sea Farms, and Wael Kabli, founder of Cura.
Yeah, hi, Rowan. Thank you very much.
Hi, nice to see you. Mark, are you here?
I am here, and thank you very much for inviting me to join. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you guys for coming back. I'm sure this brings back some good memories. It's an exciting time. It's a very interesting time. And I would like to delve into these questions. I have so many in mind, but of course, naturally, I have to crunch them down. I think my first question would be, given your experience with EWC, how has your business thrived and evolved in the year since you've participated?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Well, for me, I learned so much during the EWC competition, both the national and the global. I learned you have to sharpen your pitch. And in the process of sharpening your pitch, you learn a lot and you ask yourself questions. And when you test it on others, they ask you questions which make you pause and help you, really genuinely help you to build your business. Obviously, networking is really, really valuable, and getting to meet other people. And then who are your fellow competitors. And it was also great for obviously the mentoring and meeting, especially international people. Well, actually, no, national and international people who were able to support and express interest in your company.
And Wael, would you like to share with us?
Sure. Maybe the best thing was around the EWC experience was around interacting with all of these international candidates and seeing people across the sector. For example, I was looking at many people who were contributing in healthcare, for example, in my area at least. And then also looking from the international perspective, like for example, what are the questions that international investors might look for? And one more thing that also I found it really beneficial from the EWC last year was how to pitch for an international audience and what to look for on a global scale. It's really different from looking at regional and local competitions. So it was really enlightening, actually, for me.
Given that you both mentioned international experience and local experience, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on how different the two let's say, regions or different areas?
So one, maybe I'll start this one and then Mark can continue. Basically, one of the things that I found it different is the ability to have this replicated across multiple countries, how your project or your solution will work in different countries. What other perspectives from the international investors will look at? For example, a couple of things that we get for granted here in Saudi, for example, things related to regulations, things related to, for example, funding, and you will find it very much different from the other countries. And there are, amazingly, also there are things that are very much similar. So we are in the same. So, for example, finding the right investors and the funding stage that you're in, and all the problems that you find around hiring talents. For example, starting your business. Also, that's very similar with other people in other countries. So, in some ways, we are very much different, and in some other ways, we have lots of common challenges that we are looking at.
Mark, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, that's completely correct. Completely correct. In many ways, both what Wael and Red Sea Farms are doing is scalable internationally. But then there are all sorts of differences. Sometimes the differences are nuances, and sometimes they're really important. And for us in Red Sea Farms, you know, going internationally, going into the European or North American markets, these are very mature markets and much harder to penetrate. And you know, we really have to go in very, very carefully and with a surgical knife. Here we've got a market which I think is much more receptive. There's a lot more opportunities here for growth, and there's also really good government support, because the government recognises that you know, this 2030 framework in which we're all working is very strong and really does help in many sectors for the growth of new businesses, and in the food sector that's certainly the case.
Great things. I'm hearing great things here. EWC is a competition that I mean, everyone says is very much relevant to all types of entrepreneurs. You are both from very different areas of expertise. How do you feel about it being relevant to all?
So basically, in my case, I found it very relevant because, as I said before, that we have lots of similarities with other people who are with us on the same stage. So, for example, last year when I was pitching, we had the same issues regarding how we should pitch our project. How we should phrase our answers towards investors, what investors will look at during our pitch. All of these things were very similar challenges for us, between us and the other candidates. So all of these were actually excellent opportunities for us to take to bring from EWC actually.
Yeah, a lot of the skills are generic, and yeah, as I said earlier, learning to do your pitch and making it good and being hard on yourself to answer your own or try to preempt the questions, and then that helps you really re-examine your business very carefully is very, very helpful. And for all of us, remember, you got to have a market. No market, no business. And EWC really helps you, forces you to get out your pen and pencil and do some sums and actually work out markets and work out costs and benefits of different strategies to get to market. It's really important, very beneficial.
I'm really glad to hear all this. With every great company, it all starts with just one idea. It's a natural process. We all know this, but though we don't, although I'd love to dwell a little bit more into how you both created your companies and how you came up with these ideas, but I would like to see maybe if we could look into more how and why do you think it's important to go forward with an idea and never sweep it under the rug? There's this fear of failure, but with every great endeavor and every great project, there should always be room for failure in order to learn and grow. I'd like to hear your opinions on this, if it would be possible, please.
So I think from my side is what is the main driver for you? What makes you what drives you towards this business? What drives you towards this idea? And this thing that will make you to stick actually with the business, and that will make you to overcome most of the failures. So, for example, for me, what usually actually makes me, for example, what makes me to stick with the business and overcome most of the obstacles that we see on a daily basis is my desire to build things that people like to use, right? Everyone has to find this small thing, small happiness place where that brings happiness to him, and you stick to that place, and that thing will make you continue and overcome most of the challenges. So every time that I see people who are using my product, those teenagers who we are helping to overcome depression, for example, mothers who are trying to follow up in their pregnancy, and lots of others who are trying to reach out to doctors and not being able to reach them, and then they are getting help through our products. And I read these nice, handly written comments from every one of them. That makes me actually happier, and will keep me sticking to this business every day. Although every day that you come to the business, that some days that you will come, you will feel that I don't want to continue because all of these challenges that happen to you. But again, you go back to that place that makes you stronger, and you go back to your business and continue.
That's
wise words, Wael. Wise words.
Yeah, that's right. That's great, Wael. And Kira's lucky to have you. And that's a good company, clearly. No, I mean, you have to.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Be absolutely not afraid of failure, but equally don't be reckless, and be excited but not overexcited. Be confident but not too confident. Be optimistic but not too optimistic. You must be self-critical and incredibly hardworking. And yes, believe in what you're doing, but also, I mean, do use your instincts as well. Be confident enough to use your instincts. And, you know, one, I think, very important thing is if something doesn't feel right, you know, you get a niggle somewhere, there's something, you know, you're making a decision. I was doing this very recently, actually. And then I just thought, this doesn't feel right. And, you know, if it doesn't feel right, it's quite often isn't right. And so do follow those instincts. So yes, be optimistic, hardworking, excited, optimistic, but balance it and be self-critical and hardworking. But don't be afraid to fail. Be careful with your money as well. Don't spend, don't get over, you know, I've got money. Be careful with it. Every penny in those first days. A cent saved now is worth $1 in just a year or two.
Yeah. Since you mentioned the money, maybe I'd just like to add one more thing, which is failure. Fear of failure is something also good. It's not totally bad. So it is that one thing that makes you choose the right business model. It is that thing that makes you alert every day. And the most important thing, this is the fear of failure makes you answer the most important questions about your business. So like, why do you exist? What are you solving? What market I'm addressing? And you ask yourself these questions every day, right? That's the fear of failure. It can be used on a really good side, right?
Well, of course, you as finalists from last year's event have good enough knowledge and quite enough experience to tell everyone and our future entrepreneurs of what to expect. And I would like to ask maybe what advice would you like to give for future entrepreneurs and to our contestants and our finalists that will be announced very soon?
One of the things that I wish somebody told me actually before I joined, maybe that's one of the curses that you get because you're in the first batch. After you finish the contest, the community that happens all over around the year, the community that is created, it is one of the best communities that I ever saw. So the amount of resources that is available to you, online resources, mentors, and these lovely weekly sessions that we get after the contest, this is one of the things that you should be utilizing very much. And this applies for all, for winners and also the people who didn't, maybe they're not in the top 5 or the top 10. I don't know how it goes this year, but anybody who will be part of that community will be benefiting very much. So that's one thing. The other thing is actually winning is very important, but that's not the goal. That's not the final goal. Your final goal is make your business working, right? So make sure that you learn from everyone. Make sure that you make the most out of the interactions, most of the community, most of the mentorship that you get through this contest, and enjoy the journey. It's about building this network. It's not about winning, because if you make your business working, that's actually winning, right?
Yes. Yep, that's a beautiful thing to say. Also, you know, you talk about mentors and listening to people, and that is definitely true. But again, you know, filter that as well, and don't let some middle-aged old fart tell you that you have to do this, then that, then that. There are many pathways to success. And Wael and I were actually just talking about this in the waiting room, how there are many different ways to grow. There are many options for growing your business. And sure, the mentors have got very good advice often, But don't just take it, especially again if it doesn't feel right, because there are many different ways of many different contexts. And we're in an unusual country here, which has got lots of different exciting opportunities as well as challenges. So, listen to your advice, but then also filter it.
Sure, and many of the, I would like to add on and build on your words, Mark, that the guidebook of entrepreneurship, we don't need to follow that to the letter, right? So lots of good ideas, lots of guidance that we can get, but at the end, that getting your company to work, that's the ultimate goal, right? So yeah, great words there, actually.
To my panelists, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Wa'il, for being with us today. I'm sure you have been an inspiration for our 14 finalists, who I'm sure are starting to be impatient, but yes, the suspense is almost over. Again, thank you so much for being with me in this session. Next. So thank you all for
participating. Thank you, Ron.
Absolute pleasure. Best of luck, everybody. Just being here is making me a bit more nervous. It's reminding me of last year.
Exactly. So I'm anxious, looking for the results.
It's incredible.
Thank you guys again so much for coming here. Let's see you maybe next year.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you all for participating and making this event memorable. Please stay tuned for the winner's announcement right after this video. It's been my absolute pleasure to be your host today. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna go now to the announcement of the winners. We're very excited to start, and for this, I would like to hand it over to my colleague Jihad for the first announcement of the winner.
So this was not an easy deliberation between the judges. So the winner number 6 I'll be announcing is Qiyas. Congratulations.
Okay, Kevin, you wanna go next?
Yeah, repeating what's been said, very, very tough, fabulous presentations by everyone, but the next winner is Peregrine Genomics. Congratulations.
Omar, floor is yours to announce the winner.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah, I think what I'm sure about is that all of the participants are winners tonight. But and it was hard to pick the top 6, but I think Upscalable deserve number 4. Together with my colleagues, we picked this one for the impact they are making and for the scale they can do in the market in terms of recruitment.
Thank you so much. Walid?
All right. 4th place winner is a company that embodies how technology can make people's lives better. Our 4th place winner is brightsign.
I think that would be 3rd place, right?
Yes, that would be the 3rd place.
Oh, just 3rd place. Yes, thank you.
And next, Amal.
Well, then the 2nd place winner, and if I were live, I would have really yelled super high, you know, with your name, and we would have held drums, you know, and everyone, so we can envision it. But the 2nd place winner is Idama. Congratulations.
Okay, and the number 1 winner of the Saudi national final of the Entrepreneurship World Cup is Talent Dust Control. Congratulations. Thank you very much. This really concludes the national final of Saudi Arabia of the Entrepreneurship World Cup. Thank you for making this an incredible night. We were happy and very inspired by what we saw with the startups, and we hope that you find them to be that as well. We really saw a number of pitches whose founders really presented with ambition, fierce passion, and dedication. We want to thank all of those that made it possible to do this tonight. For the co-organizers, KAUST, MBSC, and Gen Saudi, the partners, Munshaat and MCIT, and Arab News, and really to the experts, the judges and the speakers whose insights and knowledge have come to what we hope to a great value to both the finalists as well as the audiences and us, the organizing team. And speaking of organizing team, I want to thank our team at MISC, who's shown a lot of dedication and help and focus to helping young people build their future. You know, as you've seen, entrepreneurship is really all about collaboration, cooperation, and community. And it's a ripple effect that moves both ways between the young people, as we saw, and the experts in the ecosystem. And remember always, there has never been a better time to start an idea, even with the current climate. We have seen 15 pitches that really show that you can find your idea and excel despite what's happening. If there's will, there's innovation. If there's innovation, there's success. This has been a small glimpse of what the EWC offers. We invite you to join the EWC platform, not only to rewatch this event, but also to watch the national finals happening across the globe. We virtually travel to every country in the world, looking for the best ideas, the best startups, to welcome them to the MISC Global Forum in October 18th to the 20th this coming month. So we look forward to that. It's going to be a special event, one of a kind, where we celebrate innovators, collaborators, and great thinkers. And we can't wait to welcome you there. And I want to hand over to our great partner and friend, Amal Dakhan, to share a couple of words as well.
Thank you so much, Abdirahman. Basically, it's, I mean, we're coming to an end of a very inspiring evening. The reason we're here today is because we believe in the cause. The reason we're here, that we all support, you know, the creation of the startups and the entrepreneurial journey. And I think no one will disagree that we see that the future of Saudi in these entrepreneurs and these innovators. What I loved, I think, about today, that we've seen players from different industries, from different sectors, and everyone plays a role to create this amazing ecosystems. So entrepreneurs, innovators, thinkers, all of you, keep doing what you do best. Keep inspiring us the way you did today. Keep producing all of these companies that changes people's lives. And I think places and events like Entrepreneurship World Cup is obviously one of the opportunities that shows us, what we can offer here in the Saudi Arabian ecosystem. And we know that there is a lot more that's coming very soon in all fronts. So thank you so much for all of you for having us actually here, for the contributor. Abdurrahman, thank you so much for a beautiful journey, starting from the very organization till very today, and to everyone who participated to bring us here. So always keep us inspired and stay entrepreneurially thinking all the way. See you all in October, inshallah. Have a lovely evening, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, and see you. Bye.
Thank you.